Hi, welcome to this playthrough of the Dark Quarter. This is a playthrough for Chapter 1, the breaking, which is what this prototype has been included with. So I'm showing you how the game plays. Keep in mind that the Dark Quarter is running currently on Kickstarter. I'm going to put a link to the campaign in the description of this video below. This is for you to get a feeling of how the game plays. There will be some spoilers, but according to the information I have, even if you see the flow of the game, there won't be massive spoilers that won't determine how you can or you cannot play Chapter 1 yourself. The major spoilers will be when the finale comes, so maybe for those of you who don't want to see any spoilers, you should switch your monitor off or change to another video, or go to the how to play video if you haven't seen that already, that we have filmed. If you wanted to see some spoilers, but that's okay, you can be able to play the game, then you can go ahead. But if you don't want to see the major spoiler, let's say at the end when the finale happens, then when I'm going to say that I'm entering the finale, you should also switch it off. Otherwise, you can see the whole playthrough as you see best fit. Now, I'm starting the game. I have two investigators, Winter Malins, matching with my yellow coffee cup here, as you can see, my coffee mug. And then it's Julia Paris. They're both part of the Beaumont Investigation Agency. These are private investigators essentially trying to crack down murder mysteries when no one else can succeed in New Orleans 1980. The theme of the game is very rich, the atmosphere is very unique, it's a very thematic game, so let's go through the game and start right away. So I have downloaded the app. This is the app of the game. It is in the development mode at the moment, so everything you see together with the physical components, it's a prototype. Additional improvements, of course, will always happen and take place when the game is fully produced, but rest assured that we're talking about Lucky Duck games and Van Ryder games, so I have no doubt there. We have already seen the magic that they do with other games like Destinies and Chronicles of Crime, so this is going to be another beautiful app to use. So far I didn't have any problem as well. So I start right away without further ado. Chapter 1, the breaking. So I hit play. Then I'm going to choose my characters. I'm selecting. I can also click on about and read the background of each of my characters, which I'm going to do actually to give some perspective in my gameplay. I'm going to play with Winter Marlins and Julian Paris, but let's see what about their history. Also, it is on the back of this board for you to check and read, but also in the app. So Winter Marlins saw dead people. He could even talk to the poor bastards, which would drive most people insane. The good news was that Marlins could only see them while he was drunk. The bad, he was almost always drunk. Marlin's unwanted party trick developed around the time he lost his dream job as head chef at one of the most decorated restaurants in the city. The manner of his exit was violent enough to ensure that no one else would hire him, not even hole-in-the-wall grease cook slinging po' boys and dirty rice. Left with nothing, Marlins began to drink like the devil himself, and with his newfound hobby came his newfound drinking buddies, rotting corpse, which never shut the fuck up. Why this had happened to him, he didn't know, but it did find him an unlikely job at the Beaumont Agency. An investigator who could speak to the dead often came in handy, even if he was perpetually drunk. Most people didn't mind, though, since Marlins, despite being 18 sheets to the wind of any given day, was one charming son of a bitch. So this is the background of my first investigator, which I'm going to also select for the gameplay. There are four options, and you can play with 4 detectives. I'm going to play a solo playthrough using 2 characters to show you more. So Julia Paris, what about her? Let's read. Julia Paris, an angelic child born to a healthy New Orleans family, was, as her fathers often put it, the perfection of God. Entering the teenage years, she did not do any of the wild things one might expect a spoiled debutante to do. Instead, she sat on the garden for hours on end, taking in beauty of nature. She was there writing poetry when a casket girl crawled over the wall and buried her teeth in Paris' neck. The year was 1891 and Paris was 18 at that time. After unusually brief adjustment period, Paris embraced eternal death as fully as she had her innocent garden dreaming life. The next 40 years were a haze of gluttonous indulgences and violent rampages. On her 60th birthday, tired of a life of excess, she fully committed to the convent. On the 70th birthday, she became the youngest Arc casket girl in history. And on the eve of her 80th birthday, she was exiled after discovering someone locked deep within the convent's dungeons. Paris now works with Beaumont Agency, attempting to make up for a lifetime of cruelty and violence. So far, it isn't going very well for her. So, these are my two selected investigators. I'm selecting them, I'm highlighting them, you see, they become focused, so I'm using those two, hitting OK. Then the app instructs how to set up my initial stats for talent with green, combat with red, arcane with purple, and charisma with yellow. They are color coded but also have the symbol, and they say that I should be putting cubes, for example, for talent at slot 5, 9 and 11. You see? 5, 9 and 11. So I do that for all of the skills. I have already done it for Winter Malins. And it also says I need a starting item, RAM. So I go through the cards which are perfectly numbered as well. So from 1 moving forward and trying to locate RAM, which is this one, card number 4. So I start with this card. I return the rest of the cards there for the moment. And then I have the stats for Paris. She has respectively different sets of skills. So these are depicted with the position of the cubes already there, so very easy to set up, you don't have to remember anything. And her starting item is a love potion 05. So again, grabbing the pile of cards, items, looking for 05. There it is. It's a love potion, and she starts with that. What does the love potion do, you ask? You can use the ability, you can scan it depending on the nature of the story and where you are, and it has also this ability written with text below, and the same goes for the RAM of Malins. So the items that my investigators will be picking up are on the left together with any story cards. I'm going to use this light slot here for the Beaumont Agency inventory, if these belong to the Beaumont Agency. And then, as I unfold the locations from this pile of tiles, we'll be shifting things around for everything to fit up perfectly in our screen. Having done that, did every player take starting items and set their skills? Yes. All players, find your 2 ability cards marked with a back with an S icon for starting. These are your character's starting abilities. Select one of the 2 and unlock it for free. Combine all of your remaining ability cards together to form a deck of your ability cards, which can be unlocked throughout the game by spending experience. So you see, I have already done this. Every character has their unique skill card deck with their own unique back. This says an S. I had 2 cards with an S. I picked up Vampire of all Trades for Julia. All her star results are considered a 2 result instead. Okay, so that's useful because otherwise it doesn't count for anything. And I returned the other starting skill together with the I skills in the deck. And for Winter Malins, I already picked up the Silver Tongue. During those tests, I'm adding 1 success always. Those type of tests. Okay, so fair enough, we're ready to start since we have performed all the setup, and you see that the app does a great job in highlighting and making sure you don't miss anything. And then we start with the story. There is music, but I'm going to keep it low for the most part so you cannot, it does not interfere with what I'm saying, but it's also some atmospheric music in the app. So, New Orleans, 1981. It was the hottest August on record in New Orleans. Humidity covered the city like a mass of rancid honey. Jazz riffs leaked out of the French Quarter, valiantly trying to pierce the sweltering air. People stumbled from street to street and parish to parish as if a sweat-drenched trance. If ever the city lived up to its ancient nickname, the wet grave, it was in the summer of '81. The murder was brutal and archaic. The victim, the mayor's chief assistant, Frank Busseau, was powerful and important. It was a perfect storm of bad juju from the moment a patrolman came upon the glory display of Louis Armstrong Park. Reporters and rubberneckers swarmed the crime scene almost before NOPD could rope it off. The detective in charge took the look, vomited into the bushes for the first time in his career, and said out loud to no one in particular, "This is going to hang on our necks like a fucking milestone if we don't put it to the bed immediately." A call was made for outside help, a call no one really wanted to make, but in this instance the NOPD wasn't above begging. Thus the Beaumont agency was asked to consult on what would become the first of the Congo murders. Game progress is saved automatically at the start of each of the game days. Saved games can be loaded by selecting a previously played scenario and pressing resume last game, so no problem there. It shows us the city. This is the city of Orleans. This is the physical board. Respectively, we place the board as indicated. Then, the only true safe place in all of Dark Orleans, as long as Sofia Romero isn't pissed at you, is the Beaumont agents. No better than to bother their boss, causing her anger. So this is our agency, this is our offices. When lost, this is where you can receive a hint at the expense of your final reward, so think carefully. So you place marker 01, the Beaumont agency, as indicated, and we locate our boss of the Beaumont agency and we place them roughly there. So don't be too, you can see this is a building also, but don't be too harsh on yourself if you don't find the exact location. It's just to give you an idea where it goes. Then, the briefing. I'll be brief. Here's the evidence file straight from the NOPD, but it's as thin as my fucking patience. So get to work and track down who did Busseau in and why they chose to do it like this. Romero returned to her work dismissing the agent, so no useful information there, unfortunately. Take the evidence file 01 card from the story deck and place it in the Beaumont inventory. Place all character miniatures next to the Beaumont agency point of interest marker. So what the app is instructing us to do is they say that my character, Winter Mullins, starts next to the Beaumont agency. Same goes for the second character I'm playing, the second investigator, which is Julia Paris. They both start there next to the agency, and also we have to take story card number 1, which is the evidence file with a code. It says it's a story card as seen on the top, and this is placed not next to the inventory of a player, which is usually on the left of the main board, but to the let's say assigned area for the Beaumont agency. I'm going to use some space here to place the cards, so this is where the Beaumont inventory will be placed, and it's common for people to use there. Then we hit OK in the app. Congo Square, located at the heart of Louis Armstrong Park, the scene of Busseau's brutal murder. So we need to place one of those tokens there. So this is, as you see, in the Congo Square, which is a location marker. So we place it from the unexplored site, not the explored. So it starts there, and the app instructs us that it goes on Congo Square. There it is. We're instructed to place the location marker on Congo Square, so we hit OK. And then City Hall, the seat of power in New Orleans and former employer of victim Frank Busseau. So we place another location marker in the City Hall, you can see here. Okay. So the city hall is there. And then we click OK. And then we have some text. So, 2 years earlier, a brutal murder with striking similarities to Busseau's killing occurred at the home of an NOPD homicide detective. Actually, this is one of our characters. I haven't selected him, but he's one to be selected as well if you wanted to, if you're playing more than more player game, or if you want to play more characters yourself. So, Maria Robichaud, wife of decorated officer John Robichaud, was found strapped to a wooden cart wheel, her limbs shattered. The case was never solved. So this is the background story also of this detective. The Robichaud family house closed shut and empty for nearly 2 years. So we place another location marker at Robichaud's house, which is there. Again, from the unexplored side. Okay, we continue. And then we start the game. It says it is your turn, Winter Malins. So refresh and effort die. So this is the first thing that we'll be doing in our turn. We'll taking one die and placing it on together on this player board, which indicates that now it is available, because if it's off board, it's exhausted. And then we get the story. God damn it, not today, Malins shuddered when he got Romero's page. His head felt like a watermelon dropped into a meat grinder. Very, very specific. I didn't want to have such a headache. His fault entirely, as the previous night he had been at the Napoleon house drinking himself into oblivion, as he often did on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and so on. So you get the idea. At least he wasn't being harassed by any goddamn ghost, which was the only positive thing he could say about the pounding between his ears. Shit, maybe some fresh air will do me a bit of good, Malins laughed. Who was he kidding? The only cure for handover this epic was a fifth of golden brown. He'd worry about that later, off to the agency first. Okay, so now it's the active turn of the character of Winter Malins, so I can select to go anywhere and do anything. But before doing that, let me remind you of the actual player turn. Okay, sip of coffee before we go to work, and then I think what Winter Malins will do in his turn is to start with scanning maybe the evidence file. But again, the flow of gameplay for a player's turn is first, mandatory, Fable, we refresh one die, we did that. Then secondly, optionally, unlock an ability card if we have enough experience, of course. Then thirdly, optionally again, we can scan one item card. And then fourth, we go to the mandatory, interacting with one point of interest. So I think I'm going to scan first of all, not the RAM at this stage, but definitely the evidence file, which is this one. Okay, so I think I'm going to go for scanning. Then I'm showing you the interface again. You see, it's this. This is the board. I can go and visit different locations if I don't want to scan anything, etc. But I'm hitting the scan button. So now, I'm hiding. I think I need to change my camera, and we're ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan. You see the evidence file, and then I get the information. So this is my scan. It says the case file from the NOPD was thin. A few preliminary crime scene photographs that had been rushed to the developer, as well as some brief notes on Busseau, were all that was inside. It would not be a substitute for actual eyes on the ground at Congo Square. So basically, we didn't get a lot of information, and it gives us a hint that we should go to Congo Square to investigate what's going on. So I think the last thing that I can do is interact with a point of interest. So I'm going where the murder happened. So hitting on Congo Square. Congo Square located at the heart of Louis Armstrong Park, the scene of Busseau's brutal murder. So visit Congo Square? Yes. So this is flipped because this is now explored. as indicated in the app. And then Congo Square, located at the heart of St. Louis Armstrong Park, the scene of Bourseau's brutal murder. Place the Congo Square as indicated, flips the location marker, okay. And then we get the story. So first of all, it instructs us to pull out tile number 1, the Congo Square. So I'm doing that. So this is Congo Square from Louis Armstrong Park. Okay. I can return this to the Beaumont agency for the moment. And then we get, the park was a madhouse. Throngs of people gawked at the entrance, trying to see past the crime scene tape and catch a glimpse of the grisly display deeper inside the park. Place tile 01, face up as indicated. Done. At the back of the crowd, Mullins noticed a man quietly making at the spectacle, not moving or saying a word. Mullins wouldn't have noticed him if not for the fact that he was a good foot taller than anyone else in. So a very tall guy, strange man, is sitting there. So we need to find strange man 05 and place them as indicated on Congo Square. So doing that, but keep in mind that before, when I visited Congo Square, I should have moved my mini there. So looking for 05, I think it's this one. Yeah. So this strange tall guy sitting over there. Okay. And then we have a police officer. At the front of the crowd, guarding the crime scene tape, was a frazzled beat cop. The poor schmuck was in his early 20s, green as paint, and trying to hold back the crowd like the leaves before Hurricane Betsy. So not successful. To be completely frank, he wasn't faring much better than the leaves did. So not doing his job well, but he's probably young and not experienced yet. So let's locate him. That's 04. I'm thinking that it's a good idea to have them numbered and stacked so that you can find them easily. So this is the beat cop. In the crime scene, you see, this is where the murder happened, sitting over there. And okay. And now this is what we have here. Okay, so using my street smarts, I think the obvious one would be not to go to the newbie, to the beat cop, where he probably doesn't even know what to say other than what I witnessed myself, since he's young and not experienced and not managing well, keeping the crowd apart. So I think I can always go back to him. He's not going anywhere. So I'm rushing to this strange man sitting at the corner, the tall strange man, trying to maybe ask some questions or see what happens there. So immediately when I explore one of those locations, I move my miniature next to one of the points of interest there. So doing so, I'm moving there and I'm going to hit to interact with him in the app. So I'm selecting him. The app says, the back of the crowd, Mullins noticed a man quietly staring at the spectacle, not moving or saying a word. Mullins wouldn't have noticed him if not for the fact that he was a good foot taller than anyone else. So visit strange man? Yes. Okay, there he is. Mullins approached the tall man casually. What's the city coming to? Am I right? The man looked down at him as if acknowledging a gnat, and then returned his gaze to the spectacle. Dark days are upon us, he said, in the deepest bass voice that Mullins had ever heard. The man was quite frankly terrifying. He would not be easy to intimidate. Despite his initial feeling of talking to a statue, Winter tried to get a conversation going. So this is where we are at the moment. And this is the icon for a charisma test, specifically, especially named questioning, when it has this white figure on the right. When it has a red on the left, it's called calming down, so for hostile NPCs. So now obviously we need to make some questioning and try to get a conversation going with the tall strange man. So this is a test that we need to run. So we're going to make a questioning skill test. So basically I roll my 2 main dice always. I can select if I want to add an available die there, and then keep in mind that I also have my ability. I have Silver Tongue. That means that during a questioning test I add one automatic success. This is the icon of the success. Basically this is the automatic success. Okay, so I'm doing a questioning test, so I have an automatic success. So I'm thinking, should I spend my effort die to hit a success, because I have a cube on 5 and a cube of 7, so I need 7 at least to have 2 success plus 1 3. I think I'm not going to use my effort die for this one, especially since I get 1 success from there. So I'm rolling for my questioning skill with 2 main dice, and I get a 3 and a 1, which is poor because I don't even have 5, so I have only 1 success. That means I get to add 1 success and confirm. So these are the options that now open from this discussion based on my success. Keep successes added. Keep in mind that the threshold for each test is not known. It's not always binary if you fail or succeed, and it depends on various situations. So this is important because you don't really know if you needed more successes or not, and this is part of the magic in this game, in my opinion. So there you go. Malins approached the tall man casually. What is the city coming to, alright? And then the man looked down at him, so this is the previous dialogue. So the questions I have 2 questions. So my 1 success allowed me to have 2 questions. So what do you make of this? And scan something. Who are you and why you are interested in this? And how the hell did you get so tall? This sounds a bit stupid to ask. So let's ask, who are you and why are you interested in this? Okay, so I'm asking this one. My name is my own and my business is the same. So I can coax, intimidate, or drop the subject. Keep in mind that different NPCs react differently depending on the approach you try to follow up on a questioning. So I think being drunk and also smelling alcohol, I don't think I can intimidate a very tall guy of this posture, so I'll try to coax, be sympathetic. It bears repeating that these are dark days for our city. As servant of Gasdor Inc., I'm here to bear witness. The man considered Malins carefully. I sense the same concern in you, so I give you this one morsel. Voodoo magic is involved. Okay, so this is a hint. So he thinks that there is voodoo involved in this crime, and he says he's a servant of Cazador Inc. Okay, so we got something out of him. Malins uncovered a new lead in the case, a mysterious organization known as Cazador. So I gain 1 experience. So keep in mind that experience gained are common in this game for everyone to use. So I think I'm going to start collecting them, let's say here in the Beaumont agency. Okay, so we have 1 experience. As instructed. It seemed the Arcane was involved in the entire case. Malins knew someone who might help in this field. Okay. And then we have someone new entering the game. A Dixieland Drugstore was a place well known to all at the Beaumont agents. It was an institution with all manner of arcane for sale, and also a good place for asking questions about magical funny business. So place 02 Dixieland Drugstore as indicated over there. So 02 goes here. Okay, it's another point for interaction. Looking at that, I think an advice I would give to the publishers is maybe to create a white border around these NPC hexes, because when you place them there, it's easier to stand out if they have like a highlight around them, at least at the corners of the tile. Okay, I'm looking at it from far away, you're not going to miss one of those tiles, but it will be easier to pick them up faster. Okay, good. Then I click OK. And then we go back to the strange man, because keep in mind I have one question remaining based on my previous success. So what do you make of this? How the hell did you get so tall? And what can you tell me about Cazador? I think I'm going to follow up on the Cazador clue. So we are all to stand between the Diablos and the good people of the city. We are the bulwark between the New Orleans and the Dark Orleans. So again, Cox, intimidate and drop the subject. I think I shouldn't intimidate him. We do not usually associate with your kind, but these killings are too momentous for us to draw partisan lines. You will find the office of Cazador Inc. at the Cabildo, and where you may find answers. So he's giving us information on where his organization is located. Okay, Malins knew the building, but he didn't know who called it home. So you gain one experience. Okay, we're doing good on the questioning, I think. And then we have the Cabildo located there. Another point, another location for us to explore. Okay, now I don't think I can do anything else, so I'm forced to end my turn because there's nothing left for me. I asked both my questions, so end turn. End turn, yes. Now it's the turn of Julia Paris. Refresh one effort die, she does the same. Okay. Her ability is that all star results are considered a 2 result instead, which for the rest would be 0. Okay. So she starts her turn. She can scan for a clue, scan a card or something, or anything. I don't think it makes sense to scan the evidence file. It looks very thin. I don't have a lot of options to scan a lot of things at the moment, so I'm thinking to scan the love potion, just to understand what's going on. Okay, let's do that. So selecting the scan icon below the portrait, and then let's carefully go to the correct item. I like that it's sepia, not colored. So touch and hold to scan. Okay. Contrary to popular opinion, love potions weren't only used to make someone fall in love with you. Of course, they were good for that, but in smaller doses they could simply make another person extremely fond of you. And people who are fond of you will they will do almost anything you ask them. Okay, so it's good to know I can use a love potion for getting people to talk more, I suppose, or doing things like that. So what I'm going to do as a main action, I think I have now the clue. I can follow up on this new weird institution, corporation, whatever Malins found out. But I think we haven't seen the crime scene yet. So I would move here and automatically come here, and since there is no other now I could also interact with him if I wanted, but I think I'm going to interact with the beat cop for the moment. So again, going here, go to Congo Square, yes, click the police officer. At the front of the crowd guarding the crime scene was a frazzled beat cop, so it is the scene that we've seen before. Visit the police officer, yes. Paris forced her way through the crowd and flashed her badge. I'm with Beaumont Agency. I need to get in to look at the crime scene. So the cop barely glanced at the badge, frankly, making sure no one forced their way past the tape. You and every other rubnecker here, beat it, lady, I don't have time for your bullshit. And now you can take a closer look at the badge. Rant, I'm expected. Or you can say Paris has a grease that would get her past this shit heal in no time. And I think the one would be the potion, so let's give it a try. I'm going to use a potion. Sorry, I'm going to use the arcane magic to try to force myself. And then I think I need a 6 and 9, so I'm definitely going to use my effort die. So I'm rolling all 3 dice. Oh, that's great. I have 3 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 10. That means I can have up to 11. Anyway, I have 2 successes. That's not bad. So 2 successes. I confirm. A few whispered words and the cop's demeanor flipped. Okay, so I put some spell on him. Go on in, ma'am. My apologies for not letting you in sooner. I'm not sure what I was thinking worked like a charm, literally. So I gain 1 arcane experience, 1 arcane cube shifting. So as always, when we see the symbol with moving a skill cube to the left, that means of course improving. The more to the left the skill cubes, the better, because we can hit the numbers easier with the total of our skill tests, as you obviously understand. So now we need to do 1 purple cube to the left. Always we take the rightmost cube, so I'm going to use this one. If I needed to do it again and I cannot move the rightmost, then what I do is I use my movement and with the second one to make space again for the rightmost one, etc. So for the moment, now 10 also becomes a hit for me, a threshold success. So that was a good thing. So I move in and I bypass the bit cop. So he's out, nothing more to add. And then I click OK. And then we have, with the walking crowd held back at this entrance, it was quieter here, but not much. Police swarmed over the grounds like ants, beat cops, plainclothes detectives and forensic photographers. Playstyle 02 as indicated. So you see it's on the left of this. So in theory, this should be here. Okay, but I don't have a lot of space, so I'm going to move those tiles off for the moment. Okay, and I don't think there is any problem according to the rules. Also, there is no issue adding tiles, close, as long as you understand that this is part of the same location. Obviously, so actually this is the second location. It's 02. It is 02 is the second tile of the same location. The location is Congo Square, so I expanded the location basically with this. So let's read the text. With the gawking crowd held back at the entrance. Oh no, we did that. So we hit OK. And then we have Detective Leblanc placed there. He's NPC 06. One detective in particular stood out, apparently the king of the circus. He was almost certainly the lead detective of the case. So looking for 06 to add him there. There he is. That's the lead detective of the crime scene. Okay. And then we have, at the center of the square, there is a murder that had taken place. Lay Bousseau's body over there. So this is the victim. So I'm placing this here under the tent. Okay, I hit OK. And then Julia sensed blood and she felt a stirring in her throat. Keep in mind she's a vampire. God damn it, not now, she thought. The past month had been particularly difficult for managing her hunger. She's been upfront about her issues when she joined the agency. In fact, she was convinced her status as an ex-casket girl was why she'd been hired in the first place, but her employment was conditioned on managing her appetites. She refused to go back to the convent and loved the work, so this was the last thing that she needed. She had to make another trip to the bank, the third this week, if she wants to keep her hunger under control. This is a blood bank. The blood bank was in a rundown strip mall, the kind you wouldn't set foot in unless you wanted drugs, mugging or worse. So NPC number 17 should go there, since this is the blood bank. Okay. Keep in mind that you see only tiles for NPCs on the main board, but there is also text also on the... Okay, and this also takes one of your markers, because this location is useful and can be used only, visited only by Julia. Makes sense. Who else would need blood from a blood bank? If not a vampire. Well, this system is nice because it really shows you that it's only for her. And then there's nothing else I can do because I spent my interaction with a point of interest, so I can only end my turn. Okay, back to Winter Malins. So this goes there, this is exhausted, and he gets one additional effort die refreshed as part of his new turn. Fortunately, the fog in Malin's head was clearing out, and the pounding was no more than a dull throb. Unfortunately, instead of bringing back his much-needed focus, sobering up through some shit within that Malins would just as soon have forgotten. The previous night was still blurry, but one overriding memory cut through the haze when Malins left in the weathered Cortina to make the short drive home. He hit something on Orleans Avenue, just north of Louis Armstrong Park. There had been a tramp, what is in the crab, a pothole, a stray fucking dog, but it had barely registered at the time and he kept driving. Shit was all Malins could say, the thumb ringing in his ears like it had happened moments ago. Well, better see what's what then. Against his better judgment, he decided to investigate. Working on the case would be hard enough without his hanging over him like a shroud. And on the bright side, at least it wasn't far from Congo Square. So we place a marker at Orleans Avenue. This is where Malins stepped on something with his car. Okay, so this is where our stories start to mix and mingle together. Really like it. So that's there. Okay. Malins marks the location with your character marker. This location will only be accessible for you. Okay, and similarly, he gets a point of interest, a location marker where he stepped on something with his car, but this is also only useful for him. No one else can go in there because they don't know the story behind it, etc. I really like how these different things interact separately with the stories and the background of each of the characters so far. I'm loving it. Okay, so this is where we are. So now we decide what card we can scan. We don't have a lot of cards to scan, we haven't discovered anything. So I'm thinking let's scan Aram card, because if we don't have anything, why not? So going there. Oops. Okay. A bottle at hand calmed Malins, but it also constantly tempted him. He still controlled himself enough to resist drinking the whole time while on the case, which would be out of question, but he did take a sip. Okay. Good. So now we're back and now we have to decide what we do with Malin's turn. Okay, so I should pursue what happened last night at Orleans Avenue at some point, but I think for the moment, since I'm at the scene, I will need to check either the victim or speak to the lead investigator. I'm going to, since I can do questioning with my silver tongue, I think I'm going to send Malins to interact here with this investigator. So look how this is done. Once you're zoomed out, you just again go where I am now at the Congo Square, visit Congo Square, yes, and then I go here and I interact with this NPC. So visit Detective Leblanc, yeah. The detective looked up as Malins approached him. You from Beaumont? Malins nodded. I'm Leblanc and I'm the lead on this shit show. And just so you're crystal clear, I didn't want y'all here. But that call was made above my pay grade. Ask your questions, take a look-see, and then get the hell out of my crime scene. A friendly short. So he doesn't like us. He doesn't like us. So let's see what options we have. Leblanc looked like a small gift might get him in the talkative mood. So yeah, but I don't have money to bribe him. If I had, I would definitely try that. I think I'm going to see how much he knows, and I'm going to perform a questioning skill. No, I don't want this one. I want that one. Okay. So now you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 effort die, and I think I'm going to use all of them because I really want to make successes here to get a lot of questions, right? No, I have one already, automatic success. So I think I'm going to use those 3. Rolling for a charisma questioning test, which is the orange one. Okay, so 1, 2, and 2. Not a good result because I don't have anything. For example, you see this is the icon of the automatic success, but the star is only considered something if you have an ability. I don't have an ability for the stars, so not much use. So 2 doesn't even give me 1 success. So thankfully I only have 1 success from this silver tongue ability, so I'm inputting this one. And it gives me 2 questions. Okay. So what do you make of this? Do you have any leads? Who's a strange man watching from the crowd? What can you tell me about Cazador Inc.? I think I'm going to ask if you have any leads, but I don't think I'm going to get any. Just because someone with some brass on their lapel than me wants you here doesn't mean that you get my cliff notes on this case. So not much of a use. And I don't think if I coax him, I will try intimidating him. Why not? Tell me you didn't just try to strong arm me, you little dipshit. Get out of my face. The character hostility has been increased. Okay. So it didn't work with him, intimidation. He's hostile towards Winter Malins. So not a good choice, but that's part of the story. You never know. So what do I do with my last question? I don't think I'm going to ask a question because I'm not going to get any answer, right? He's hostile. But then I cannot scan anything because I don't have anything for useful for me to scan. He doesn't want to share any information. Let's just go straight ahead and ask for the record. What can you tell me about Cazador Inc.? I think I should coax now. Listen, if you really want fuck around and find out, you can go drop in the Cabildo and see what Cazador is all about, but don't say I didn't warn you. Okay. The detective looked up as Malins approached him. No, sorry, this is the end of this is a start scene that we read before. So I'll end my turn. I cannot do anything else, unfortunately. Not much of use my turn with Malins, so I move to Julia. Julia refreshes one of her dice, and I think she's going to... she can't scan anything, to be honest. And let's just since I have one scan always, let's scan the evidence file again. just to see if it says anything different to share for her. Okay, let's see what it would say for Paris. So the case file from the NOPD was thin, a few preliminary crime scene photographs. Okay, so we read this one, nothing useful there. Okay, as expected, but since I had it, it was worth trying to see if anything else changes. So she's visiting Congo Square, yes, and then going to the victim. Visit the victim scene, yeah. Ooh, play style 07, face up as indicated. So we have the victim scene. (07). It is red since it's a victim. Easily stands out from the rest of the tiles. Okay. So for the benefit of convenience, I'm going to move Julia's Paris inventory from the left to the right, which is not usually where it goes, just to save some space and be able to continue using her dice, this location for laying out tiles. Okay, so she came here and then she's on the crime scene. Okay. Now, an old cartwheel, the kind that you would have borne wagons across the plains hundreds of years ago, was in the exact center of the stage. Bousseau was on it. Remember, same like John's wife when she was murdered brutally years ago. So Bousseau was on it, spread degled, his hand and feet lashed to the wheel with some kind of white fibrous material. His eyes were wide open and his face in a frozen rictus of agony, and it was not difficult to see why. He was tortured, obviously. The man's arms and legs were bent and twisted like wet noodles. The bones must have been pulverized and dust for them to turn that way. Oh, he looked like a marionette at rest, his limp limbs just waiting for the jerk of a puppet master hands to spring life. Blood was everywhere. So Paris examined the scene. So let's make a talent search, a skill. She's not good with talent, so she has a high threshold to begin with to make an investigation test. But I think that she's going to use her effort die. Okay. Let's see. So 2 plus 4 plus 1, 5, 7. Ooh, I barely managed to get one success. Thanks for that. And then I get one success, I confirm, and then I have 2 questions. So Paris focused on Bousseau's tied hands. Paris examined Bousseau's massacred head. Paris took a look on the symbols written in blood. Paris examined the wooden wheel. I think I'm going to ask on the symbols written in blood. Written in Bousseau's blood was a series of symbols and lines that looked at least to Paris like hieroglyphics. The bottom half of the symbols was smudged, however. Pulling out her notebook, Paris quickly sketched the portion of the symbols that she could make out clearly. Take the symbol 02 card from the story deck and place it in the Beaumont inventory and gain 1 experience. Okay, now we have 3 experience already, and I'm picking up card 02, which is what she could make out from these symbols written in blood, the blood of the victim. Okay, cool. Strange. Looks some kind of coffin, maybe. A cross. Weird symbols. Anyway, this goes in the common Beaumont agency inventory, so it goes below there. We can always scan it. Be sure to scan it next turn. Both characters have access to this. Okay. And she has one more question. I think he's going to examine the wooden wheel, because there is a connection clearly here between the death of the agent that happened years ago. This is some kind of, we can pick up some trail from there, I suppose. Why not? This is what I would think if I was lead investigator. So let's examine the wooden wheel. The wheel where it wasn't stained with Bussaud's blood looked old and weather worn. That means that it was somewhere exposed outwards, maybe. Okay. To Paris' eyes, it looked authentic. She didn't think it was recently made. Okay. An old car wheel. Okay, so this is the starter scene. So I end my turn. Yes. And then we go back to Malin's. Turn 3. So this is spent. This goes there. He refreshes one die, and then it's his turn. So now I think that we can scan a card. Obviously he's going to scan the symbols that Julia found out, these ones. So let's do the scan. Okay. So the symbol found next to Bussaud's body, hastily scrawled onto a piece of notebook paper, was incomplete. Clearly it held great meaning for whoever had exacted such stunning violence upon Bussaud, but that meaning would remain cloudy until the other portion was found. So we're looking for the second piece of the symbols. Okay. So this is partial information with these hieroglyphics that we found. So what will Malins do? I don't think he's doing a lot going there. I think he should follow up on the Cabildo, sorry, where this strange tall man gave some information about. So he goes there, and immediately we hit on the Cabildo. Do you want to visit it? Yes. The Cabildo sat in the shadow of the St. Louis Cathedral, dwarfed by it all respects. Malins ignored the main door, which led to the museum, and approached a small, seemingly insignificant side door, which was the real entrance of the Cabildo. Like most things in Dark Orleans, the less significant they appeared, the more important they actually were. He grabbed the simple brass knocker and rapped it against the wood. The door was opened by a surprisingly young man. He was fiercely handsome, if not for the severity of his features that reflected religious fanatism. The man looked like he had never enjoyed a laugh in his life. And of course it makes sense, the way he looks. So what we do here is the app instructed us to remove the Cabildo and replace it. But it didn't mention a number. Maybe this is a bug. So let's see which one of those numbers has a portrait. None of those. None of those. Here it is. So it says that we remove this one and we add this NPC over there. So, okay. And this is the priest. The man's gaze was piercing and stern, but his welcome was polite, if a bit cold. How can I help you? You can perform a questioning. Malins cleared his throat. Can I ask you some questions? I think we'll do that because we also have one automatic success. Malins cleared his throat and he can ask you some questions. Okay, so let's make the test. I think now we have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use 1 effort die. Okay. So 4 plus 2, 6. That means I have 1 success, plus 1 from my ability, 2 successes. That means I input 2 successes here. Oh, oops, no, 2. Confirm. Still get 2 questions. The man, so what can you tell me about this? So I can scan something. I could scan the symbol. Who are you? What can you explain? What type of institution are you exactly? I met one of yours at Congo Square. Who is he? Okay. I'll start asking with the institution. Does it suffice to say that we serve God and protect Nueva Orleans against all that is ungodly? I will coax him. If it's history you're after, then know that the founder of our tribunal was Antonio de Cedella, who arrived in New Spain in the year of our Lord 1774 as a member of the Holy Office of the Inquisition. You know what the Inquisition is, I trust. I hope you're satisfied your curiosity. So, not giving a lot of info. But what I can, I think, do is I can show him the symbols, because I'm convinced that he knows. So let's put those there. This is exhausted. So what can you tell me about this? And then I'm going to scan this card. Dio Santo, the man exclaimed when he saw the sketch Marines was trying to show him. The signs of the devils themselves. Take them away from my sight. Malice didn't need his detective skills to instantly figure out that this zealot viewed voodoo through the twisted lens of his own faith, but he played along. So now I think we can coax him. I said take them away. Your very curiosity in this matter is blasphemy. The Marines thought it impossible, but the man's face turned even more grim. The character's hostility has been increased. So, end turn, yes. He didn't give us a lot of information, so we should maybe try to intimidate him, I don't know. Convinced that he knows more than what he's sharing. Okay, so it's Julia Sparry's turn. 3, so she refreshes an effort die. Okay, thanks. I think maybe she should try some love potion on the lead investigator, but also she could bring the symbol hieroglyphics to this shop, because maybe they can understand the voodoo magic. So okay, let's go there. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. But since she also has a scan, I think she would scan also herself the hieroglyphics. Let me see what if she gets any more information. The symbol found next to Busso's body, hastily scrawled on a piece of notebook. Okay. Nothing more. Okay, it was free anyway. So then she moves to the lead investigator. So she goes into Congo Square. Yes. And then go there. Visit Detective Leblanc. Yeah. So the detective looked up Paris as Paris approached him. You from Beaumont, I'm Leblanc and I'm leading this show. So she's giving the same story to Paris. So I think I'm going to try not to make an investigation, a questioning test. I think I'm going to try to use my love potion. Okay, let's see if we can pull some charms on him. Okay, this is fucking joke, haha, there is, here's one for you, stick it up your ass, fucking Beaumonts. The character hostility has increased. Okay, so Paris has pushed Leblanc too far. Steam was practically coming out of his ears. I fucking warned you. Now get the hell out of my face. He wouldn't be answering any more questions until someone calmed him down. The character turned hostile and would not answer any more questions. Okay. So my turn ends. Not a successful turn. I go to Malins. I refresh one die. And I should be checking on Orleans Avenue, what I stepped on last night. But let's move. Ooh, when I click the next scene, a new person entered the scene. The smell of so on. The smell of blood and crowds tended to attract the casket girls. Beaumont agents knew a vampire when they saw one. So there is a casket girl with the NPC 18 entering the scene, attracted obviously from the smell of blood. Okay. Interesting. Malins was pretty convinced that something bad might have happened while he was driving home. He really needed to spare a moment to check on, or else he would keep up eating him up. So there is a second time that I get a hint that they should be checking. So instead of going to check the symbols over there, then I'm moving here to follow up on what I stepped on. So hopefully nothing living. So visit Orleans Avenue, yes. So this now turns visited. Okay. Malins stood on Orleans Avenue trying to remember what had happened. His memories were shrouded in an alcoholic fog. While he was usually content to remain oblivious to those memories, the time was different. He needed to know what had happened the night before. Play style 17, face up as indicated. So 14, sorry. So 14 is this one. So now I start running out of space. Maybe I will zoom out at some point, but for the moment, again, I'm moving his inventory to the right. Likewise I did with Julia, to make sure I add a new location. So these three are part of Concourse Square, but this is Orleans Avenue, as you can see, where something strange happened last night. Lamppost. Over there. There is a lamppost broken down. And again, this is something only myself can visit. Manage mark the point of interest with your character marker. This point of interest will only be accessible to you. Okay, thanks. And then we have a bum with the NPC marker 20. A bum sitting next to the trash can. Maybe he has seen something. Okay, and then also this is something only him can visit. Cool. So, where do we go? Do we go at the lamp post or do we go at the bump? Maybe there is a clue at the lamp post. So I think I should visit that first. So let's go there. And let's interact with this one. Visit lamppost, yes. Malins examined the lamppost and the area around it more closely, looking for some kind of clue about what happened the night before. So I can do a talent test. And then I have a 5, a 9, and an 11. I'm going to use all of my dice. And I get 3 plus 3, 6, plus 6, 12. Ooh. That means I have 1, 2, 3 plus 1. No, this is not a questioning, so I don't have this extra. I just have the talent 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 successes. Confirm. There were blue flecks of paint near the lamppost, blue paint the same color as the dumpy cortina that Marins drove around. He was sure that if he examined the car, he'd find fresh gush of its paint job. So I gain 1 talent, the rightmost one moves 1 to the right. Good. Okay. Beyond the lamppost, by the light of the flickering bulb, Marins found a dark patch of the sidewalk. Dried blood, recently dried. Okay. Marins doubled over, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Even a shitty detective could piece together that had happened here. A car had jumped the curb, plowed through the lamppost, and then splattered someone across the sidewalk. Given the amount of blood still left on the pavement, whoever was hit almost certainly died. The fact that there was no body and no reports of a hit and run on Orleans Avenue, Marins had already checked with his source at the NOPD, was a curious detail that baffled Marins. Marins is about to face a critical decision. You will have only 45 seconds to make this choice, else Winter's fate will be decided for you. So, this is one pivotal change. When the app gives you this information, that means that you only have a specific amount of seconds to make choices or things. So you should be on your toes. I mean, of course, I'm already on the toes, grabbed by the scenario and the way the story is unraveling, but you need to be prepared to act fast at least, okay? Not have food, picking food or picking snacks and stuff like that, I suppose. So, are we ready? Yes. The overwhelming evidence was that he had killed someone last night and driven away, his booze-drenched mind blocking out of memory. Marins' alcoholism has finally caught up with him and he was filled with remorse. All the evidence was circumstantial and Marins was damned if he was going to beat himself up for an imaginable crime. So what do? This is a morality check, I suppose. He made a hit and run. Should I just ignore it since he didn't find any body? Or he should finally caught up with him and filled with remorse. I'm going to be clean, so I'm selecting the first one. He knew he had to answer for what he's done, no matter what it was, but it was ready to pay the piper. No matter how much that sadistic motherfucker demanded. This choice will be remembered and will have future consequences for Marins. You gain 1 experience. Okay, gain 1 experience. And then, in the corner of the blood stain was a distant shape. The blood had pooled and congealed around an object that was removed later, leaving a cross-shaped space on the sidewalk. You gain another experience. Okay, someone had taken whatever it was that had been lying in the blood. Marins glanced over the bump, snoring out the bench. Dollars to donuts, that stinky piece of human refuse knew about the missing object. Okay, so this goes out. Okay, the same goes for his marker as instructed, and your turn has ended. Okay, so that means that we have to follow up with the bum to find out what's going on. It's a side story that, of course, it's linked with what's happening. It's been derailing me from my main pursuit of the main key clues that I'm discovering. Nonetheless, it's something that I need to do because that's the way the game is designed. So I think I'm going to pursue and find out what the story is with the bum and what he took from the blood scene. So it's Julia's turn, so she refreshes one of her dice. Okay. It says also Julia's hunger is intensified. She knew she couldn't resist it forever. Paris' beeper was going off. It was the agency. She hit a payphone and called into the office. Update. The voice at her other end said immediately. Sophie Romero was not known for her small talk. Paris filled her in with where the investigation was and then steeled herself for a response. Time is running out, Paris. I've got the NOPD breathing down my neck. For an update on Bouchot, and we're working on it isn't going to fucking cut my next time. If that goddamn crystal is this goddamn crystal clear? Paris confirmed that yes, and and that was goddamn crystal clear. So, tirade over, Sophie continued. Do you need help, or can you get your fucking shit together and handle things on your own? Asking for help will count as taking a hint. Yes, we could use a point of the direction. No, we're handling this from now. So I refused her offer because it will reduce my score at the end, I suppose. But then I think I should similarly go to satisfy my hunger. So I can scan a card. We have 5 experience points. So let's see if also I can unlock any ability. So let's see her abilities. Veteran of Time. Whenever at least one of your cubes is degraded for any reason, receive 1 success. Blood Sacrifice. When performing a test, you may degrade your strongest cube in the test skill by 1 slot to add 2 successes. Ooh, okay, it's a good one when it matters. Vampiric Rage. Once per game, add 3 success in any power test, attack test. If the card is still face up during the upgrade phase, gain 3 experience. Okay, if I haven't used it, so these 2 are good. An ancient experience. During any test, you may spend 1 experience to reroll all of your die, and it requires a veteran time. The Veteran of Time. I don't want the Veteran of Time. I think I'm going to get the Blood Sacrifice. When performing a test, you may degrade your strongest cube in the test skill by 1 slot to add 2 successes. So it's something that of course it's not ideal for me to do, but if I have no other option, then I will do it, because it will give me an advantage at that time. Okay, so I'm paying 4 experience. To get this one. And we move back to my main action. So I cannot scan anything important at the moment. I think I'm going to move to the blood bank because I'm a vampire after all and I need to feed myself. So, blood bank. The blood bank is in Roundtown Strip Mall. What kind of food don't you want to set foot unless you want drugs, mugging or worse? Visit it? Yes. Paris walked into the storefront, label handy, laundromat, past the miserable looking blinkers waiting on their wash circles, and through an unmarked door far in the back. The back room was plain, dirty, concrete, and with a single opening in the wall blocked by steel bars. Sounds very, very interesting. Arcane symbols were painted in red around the opening, protecting the shallow attendant steering behind the bars from any magical funny business. So no magic pulled on him, they won't work. He looked up from the poor mug he was unseemingly flipping through. He seemed mildly surprised to see Paris. Back again, Julia? Rough week? He gave her a smug grin. I'm not in the mood, Archie. Just get me a 400 ml bag and make it quick. Ah, no can do, my lady. Archie replied with a shrug. I've been a slow week and you've hit your quota. Sitting behind the barred window, he waits for my next move. As if comparing her to one of the girls from the dirty photos. Okay. Maybe if she used her nice voice, she could convince Archie to give her a bag, but that's one option. Paris could hardly contain her rage. She'd rip the bars from the window, so that will make an attack skill, and she'll blast Archie to bits, and the hell with the consequences. No, we need him. He's our blood provider. So, make some sweet talk or attack him. I'll try sweet talk. Even though I'm a better on attack. Okay, let's try sweet talk. I'm using... I need 6. So I'm using all of my dice, my main and my effort dice. And I have 4 plus 2, 6, plus 5, 11. That gives me, thankfully, 3 successes. Archie, please, is there anything I can do? She must have put just enough pitifulness into her voice to tug at whatever Archie had for a heart. He looked around and, if worried, he would be overheard before turning to Paris. Listen, I really don't have any blood for you, but one of your sisters was in here for the other week bragging that she has kicked a habit of good. Esme, I think, was her name. Maybe she was full of shit, but maybe she got a cure for the shakes. Sorry that I'm all I got for you, and you gain one of your strongest cubes. Okay, so this cannot be this one because it's blocked, so gain this one. Okay, so he doesn't have any blood for me, but he's giving me a hint of one of my sisters, and we have seen a vampire lurking over there at the Congo's scene. So he goes out. But my hunger is still not satisfied. The last thing Paris wanted to do is that she wanted to go and visit the convent, but she really didn't have any choice at this point. Oh no, it's not her. It's a new location at the convent, which is a Ursuline convent over there. It's a new location for me to visit. And it's a location only Paris is interested in, or useful to Paris, following up my blood hunger trail, and my turn ends. So Malins refreshes 1 die, and we are starting turn 5. Okay, so I think Winter Malins should follow up on the bum because he took something from the blood scene around the crushed lamppost. So he cannot scan anything at the moment. I think he refreshes 1 die. I think he needs to go there, so let's go there and interact with this. So we are at Orleans Avenue, yes, and then go at the bump. Visit the bump, yes. The bump was snoring loud enough to make Louis Armstrong himself from the grave wake up. The headline on the paper covering him read "Clash over Liberty Monument." It was a few weeks old. Malins shook him roughly, and then he came to... Wait. And then he came to with a "What the hell, man, this is breath reeked of booze," or Malins thought he knew that something would make him talkative. So maybe, since he's drinking, we can give him some rum, right? Otherwise, we can shake him and make a questioning test. Should I give him the rum? Yeah. But if I discard it, I can add 1 success in any test, or subtract 1 success for every star rolled. So this is a very representative of alcohol, because it can either give a bump, a boost, or either towards a good direction or a bad direction. So it's a bit risky. I think I may better give it to the bum. So let's scan the card. The bum sat down and focused immediately, as much as he could. Geez, man, like, thanks, man. You're a real saver, man. Discard the rum card from your inventory. Okay, so this is discarded. And for convenient reasons, I'm going to put it, I think it's better to put it in the same numbering so that you can find them easily. So this goes there. Okay, then I have 3 questions. The bum has been taking our rum. So let's see. So what do you think about this? Did you see what happened last night? Do you know what happened to Congo Square? How can you tell me about the pool of blood? Okay, let's start with my first question. Did you see what happened last night? I didn't see nothing. I got my buddy Jack. He gripped an empty bottle and his arms just a bit tighter, and then I drank it, and then I did see nothing. Even if he's drunken state, the bum eyes shifted away suspiciously. He's lying, so let's intimidate him. Malins slapped the bum across the face, and that seemed to help jog his memory. Shit, man, what the fuck? Yeah, okay, I saw this guy on the ground, over the lamp. The broken lamp, you know? Though he was sleeping, you know, he was going to take his shit. These guys in like robes, like priests or something, come out of nowhere and they push me away. Real men, like, yeah, I was like, what the fuck, you guys? They threw the sleeping guy in a trunk and took off. Then I saw the blood and I was like, shit, the guy wasn't sleeping, yeah, you know, and the bum's eyes got real wide. Like, fuck me, you know? So, one more question for me. What can you tell me about the pool of blood? Intimidate again. Malin shoved the bum back on the bench and violently frisked him. He tried to fight back, but at his state he couldn't have fought on a pack of kindergartners, sorry, or even one kindergartner. Okay, I'm using intimidation for him because he's drunk and he's okay. He can take it. I don't think that he needs persuasion. Malins pulled a small crucifix out of the bum's coat. It was speckled with blood. The bum looked sheepishly, asked Malins, "Hey, finders keepers, alright? What a man, probably not worth nothing anyways. Take the Crucifix 7 card from the story deck and place it in your character's inventory. Gain 1 experience." The Crucifix story card, this is story card 7, okay? The Crucifix, sorry. So this is something I think, if I'm not mistaken, could have been part of the priest organization. No, I will be going there afterwards. Okay, the bum, what do you want to know about this? Do you know what happened at Congo Square? Okay. Intimidate again. Hey, I just got rights, man. You get fuck out of my face. You, jackhead. The bum stuck his tongue out of Malins like a petulant school child. Okay, he's not giving anything. And turn, yes. Malins felt there was nothing more value that he could squeeze out of the poor dirty fellow. So his card goes out. Malins knew enough to figure out there was nothing more to learn here. So we remove the location as well. So you see, let's go there. So this is removed, this is removed, and the location itself is removed. Okay? That's good. And then it says remove tile 14, and then we remove also the location marker. Okay, so boop, boop, and out. Cool. I like how these mechanics work. It's very, very, very cinematic. So Julia Parry's turn. She has this here. She's refreshing one die. And then we start with her turn. So let's see what she's going to do. So for the moment I'm pushing down on the personal stories of the characters, both Winter, Malins and Julia Parry's, because I think that they're very well linked with the general picture and what's going on. So I need some blood, and I'm thinking if I should be visiting the convent or I should take the symbol writings to share. I think I would leave it with Malins next turn. So for the moment I'm going to follow the lead. So she comes here. First of all, she refreshes one die. And then I am should I do some upgrading or unlocking of an ability? She already has one unlocked ability. I will keep it for Malins to get something more. So I think I'm going to to visit the location. So let's go. Yes. So this is now explored. Okay. Got it. The oldest structure in New Orleans and home to the Casket Girls. A walkway line, manicured scrubs and flower bushes led up to the entrance of the convent, a pristine French colonial building and the oldest structure in New Orleans. The beauty of the place belied the rotting mass housed within. So, place style 13. Okay. So this is the Ursuline convent, and there is a knocker over there as a point of interest, and this is also only applicable to her. Okay. And there is a hidden stash over there, also only applicable to her. So there's a hidden stash there. So should I go and visit the convent after I try to get the hidden stash? Let's go for the hidden stash. Yes. No. Ooh. Okay. Yes. Paris robbed the stash has not been found and plundered. Until the hope that the stash has not been found and plundered. Until she breaks the protective spell, there is no telling whether her belongings are still out there. Julia focuses to see through her illusion hiding the stash. So, making an arcane test. Let's go for it. Okay, so this is an automatic success. This is 2 plus 1, 3. And for me, stars from my unlocked initial ability, it's instead of 0, it's a 2. So 2 plus 2, 4 plus 1, 5. That means 6, my arcane. So I only have 1 success. Paris managed to see through the illusion. The contents of the stash remained untouched. Apart from some sentimental trinkets, Paris retrieved a handful of dollars. Take the money card from the consumable deck and place it in your character inventory. Okay, and this goes, so it was money. I thought it would be your turn ends. I thought it would be a blood bag, but money is also good. Okay. And I take a money card. I think it's 01. Yeah. So she also has money to use besides her love potion. And she's here now. Okay, now it's Malin's turn. So here first is 1 die. And he's going to visit the Dixieland Drugstore. So, going there. Yes. The Dixieland Drugstore was packed with print with voodoo, bric-a-brac, shrunken heads, love potions, spell books, hurt voodoo t-shirts and other curiosities. Everything on the shelves was innocuous, and the real voodoo objects, powerful and dangerous, were out of sight behind the counter, guarded by Madame Batette Bordeaux, whose family ran the place for decades. That's her. Hello, Winter. It's been a while. You shouldn't be such a stranger, she smiled. Now, what can I, Dixieland, do for you today? So Malins was interested in today's behind-the-counter wares. Okay, and you give money for that. We don't. If you do, you get to buy things. We don't have a lot of money yet. Maybe Julia can visit it for buying some stuff. Madame Bordeaux was an expert on all things voodoo of Arcane and should gladly answer any questions, and Malins knew that the curiosity gift might be a good opener for some questions. curiosity gift. I cannot give here the symbol because it is a crucial case evidence. So let's do the test. So I have one success already for questioning, and I think I'm going to use 2 main die and one more. Let's do that. Okay, so one more automatic success. So 1 plus 1, 2. And then I have 6 plus 2, 8. 8 gives me 2 successes, plus 2 more from here, 4. Okay, he's doing well on questioning, this guy. Alcohol is not affecting his questioning skills for sure. So 4 successes, confirm, and I get to ask 3 questions. So perhaps Madame Bordeaux could make sense of this, and this would be the symbols that we found at the crime scene. Oops. Okay, so we scanned the partial information. I don't think we should intimidate here. Let's coax here. The law of the invisibles, the link between humanity and the supreme creator. Some are good, some are bad, and some are between. But summoning one can be very dangerous and should never be done lightly. With only part of the symbol, it's impossible to know which law this belongs to. What do you know about Frank Bousseau? Again, Cox. Bordeaux thought harder. No, I'm sorry, I've never heard of Frank Bousseau. Okay, maybe that's true. What else can I do? So maybe she can make any sense of this item. And I'm going to scan now the crucifix that I found. Madame Bordeaux looked confused for a moment, then shrugged. I don't know why you think I'd know anything about that, but I always thought you were a bit of soft in the head, Winter. She chuckled to herself quietly as she continued to wipe her counter. Okay, let's see what's interested behind the counter, so at least we know. You can buy a voodoo doll. And enough business for now. Enter. Yes. Okay, she refreshes one die. This needs to go out. And it's Julia's turn. We could get a voodoo doll from her, and maybe we should send Julia, who has money, to get it from her, because one money can get you any object from the ones offered from the vendors, like the Dixieland Drugstore. So I think, since I'm there, I'm going to follow with the convent. Paris will prove stronger than her body. Resisting the hunger slowly weakened her. Lose 1 skill. Ah, really bad. I need it's gray, so I can do whichever I want. So I think I'm going to weaken, I say talent, since it's 11 going to 12, it's already high. Okay. And that's the consequence, since I haven't satisfied my hunger, so, okay. So going to the convent, yes. Interacting with the knocker, yes. Paris approached, memories flooding back to her. She had vowed never to come back, but she was also desperate. She knocked and asked the pale girl who opened to bring Esme. Okay. 10 minutes later, the door opened again. As I live and breathe, if it isn't the prodigal daughter returned at last, she says. So we remove this one and we add her. Her being, I don't see a number, so I need to look for those. And Murphy's Law says that it's the one left at the end. It's a perfect example of Murphy's Law. I flipped all the NPCs and it was the last one. Okay, funny. Anyway, there it is. It's here at last. But anyway, so putting all the NPC markers there. And sometimes something was off about Esme, although Paris couldn't put a finger on what was it. Hello Esme, was all she said in greeting. Whatever can I do for you, Julia? Esme asked with a sweet smile. Paris, however, wasn't fooled by it. Of all the casket girls, Esme was one of the most vicious. There was only one question that Paris wanted answered, and she couldn't feel the need for the answer throbbing in her veins like a runaway freight train. I heard a rumor that you know how to kick the blood shakes. Paris should make Esme tell her about the blood shakes. So let's try this one first. Why, whoever told you? Esme said with a sparkling laugh. Trying to charge your nature is like bringing convince the Pope to convert to Buddhism. It just ain't gonna happen, sweetie. So, should I coax or intimidate her? Let's try coax. It's a pipe dream, Julia. I just don't have anything for you there. She smiled apologetically as she shut the doors in Paris' face. Your turn ends. Okay, so it didn't work. He refreshes an effort die. And I think he's going to visit the Cabildo over there. So moving there again. Yes. He's making a questioning skill to see how many questions he can ask. So I have already one success. I'm using one of the die. So I get 4 plus 1, 5, plus 2, 7. 7 gives me 2 successes plus 1 from there, 3. Confirm. So I have 3 questions remaining. Who are you? Can I join the ranks of Inquisition? Can you explain me what type of institution are you exactly? I met one of you at the Congo Square. Who is he? So let's start with that. Cox. That must have been Domingo, one of our best, a man of great piety and loyalty, for which he is blessed by the Almighty with many talents. Okay. Domingo. This is Domingo. Who are you? Cox. By the grace of the Almighty, I am Grand Inquisitor de la Cruz, who leads the Tribunal of Cazador. And I have one last question. What can you tell me about this being the crucifix? Because I'm sure it belongs to his Inquisition. As Malins held up the crucifix, the man's eyes widened and he lunged for it. Malins yanked it away for him and stepped back. Bingo! Where did you get that? The man demanded. Malins could tell he was angry. No, not just angry, enraged. Not so fast, Padre. Tell me why this is important first. Malins could see a vein throbbing in the man's forehead, as if he was about to erupt. Give it to me now or suffer the consequences. Malins just laughed at this. Watch the man did not see him to appreciate. Fiscals to me, he shouted before disappearing to the back of inside. Malins wasn't sure what fiscal was, but he didn't want to wait and find out more. He hightailed it away for the Cabildos as fast as his geriatric legs could take him, not looking back. After he rounded the corner, Molin smiled to himself as he caught his breath. He had gotten what he came for, confirmation that there is a crucifix had come for him. He would return another day when the sour Sorn of the beach wasn't manning the front door, and then he will get his answers. Gain 1 experience. So basically, we figured out that the crucifix belongs to them, to Cazador. And we're just going to have to see him moving somewhere else, I suspect, so that we can return and get some answers for this. So this was a good turn for Malins. He goes out, as the app instructs. Okay, keep him there. I'm going to use him at some point. And then your end turns. It's Julia's turn again. She refreshes one die. And she's going to continue. Yes. Yes. Make her. Julia growled deep in her throat, and Esme immediately responded in kind, throwing her head back and letting out a shriek. Her fangs growing an inch in length. If you want to know what I know, you're going to have to force it out of me. Julia kicked herself for believing that her return might have ended otherwise. Okay, so now, Esme hissed and circled Paris, her fingernails checking like talons. I haven't had this much fun in years. So there's going to be some kind of fight. Paris would use raw brute strength to smack Esme down, or Paris began to weave a spell that would end the fight before it even started. So, what's best to do? I think we're better with attack. So let's do an attack. Okay, so I'm using all of my dice for the attack. And I can degrade one of my skills to get 2 successes. Not of my skills, of the skills being tested, meaning the attack skill, the combat skill. Okay, I think I'm not going to do that for the moment. I like being strong, so I'm going to use all these dice to see how much damage I can do to her. Okay, so this is 3 plus 2, 5, 6, and this counts as a 2. So we have 6 plus 2, 8. That means I have 2 successes. Hope it's enough. Paris pivoted and used Esme's weight against her, spinning her into the stone, where her face connected with a satisfying crunch. She slumped to the ground, beaten but still conscious. You gain 1 skill movement to the left, so this becomes stronger, so I'm becoming even stronger. And now she's going to spill the beans. Tell me what you know about carrying the blood shakes. Coax or intimidate? I will intimidate her. Paris backhanded Esme, the sound reverberating of the stone walls of the convent. Fuck, I don't know how to find her. I swear it. She contacted me, not the other way around. Said she would be in touch. If she contacts me, you will be the first to know. Okay, so she didn't know, she just had some contacts. Paris uncovered a new personal lead. A woman called Mama Celestine might be the key to Julia's freedom. Gain 1 experience. Okay. Experience is common, as I remind you before. So Paris didn't know if this Mama Celestine was for real or charlatan, but she could see if Esme's eyes that she at least believed in this woman's claims. Paris left her shame-twisted hunger and that she felt for 100 years gnaw at her guts. So she has to make a pivotal choice, and she has to make it fast. So taking breaths to make sure I do what I want to do with the choices I'm being given. Are we ready? Yes. Could Paris finally be free of her blood shakes once and for all? This is too good to be true. A vampire curse is permanent. Nothing but pain would come from hoping otherwise. No matter what it took to be free of the curse, Paris would do it. She would pay the price, and willingly. I think I want to pay the price. When this Mama Celestine contacts you, I want to be the first to know. The first is that crystal fucking clear. Esme nodded vigorously. A particularly violent shake came from Paris, but she fought it off with the knowledge that it would all be over soon. She might finally be rid of the curse that she lived with 100 years. This choice will be remembered when and will have future consequences for you, and you gain 1 experience. Night Esme, Julia turned on her heel and walked away from the convent. So we remove her, we remove the marker, and we remove the location all together. And your turn ends. Okay, good. So, returning this back, these are exhausted. He refreshes one die, not to forget it next time. So this goes, these also are removed. This goes out. And this is removed as well. So it's the turn of Malins to follow up. So he refreshed the effort die, but since we have 4 experience points, let me see if anything else may be thought for the future. This has requirement, Silver Tongue, which I do have. Whenever you gain experience by learning about a new hint, gain 1 additional experience, not bad, cost 4. Quick thinking, when you roll at least 1 during test, afterwards refresh 1 die. Okay, not bad. But you need, it has requirements, street smarts, which I don't have. Start each game with 3 dice refreshed. Okay. And then quick thinking, whenever you roll at least 1 star. No, I've seen that. I've seen that. All ability cards purchased after this one cost 1 fewer experience. So that's not bad, but you have to pay 4. I'm going to do it. So I'm also getting those. I'm paying 4 experience. Okay. And we start our turn. So what about him? What he should do? We know that the crucifix is a link with him. Oh, we need to get Paris now here to buy a voodoo doll. I think since he's very good at questioning, etc., etc., I should send him to investigate either of those 2 locations, either the City Hall or Bouchot's house. I'm going to send him at the City Hall. So he goes there. Yes. Duncan Plaza, home to City Hall, carried the stink of New Orleans politics all over it. Corruption wafted from the concrete and glass like munk from a stray mouth. It made Malin's skin crawl, of course. Malins managed to reach the mayor's receptionist, but here's his luck ran out. From the very first look, he knew that that getting past this bureaucratic Cerberus would not be easy. Okay, so put here in the position instead of okay, so she goes there instead of the location. Then, according to the receptionist, the mayor was indisposed and wouldn't be back anytime soon. Malins could read between the lines. For him, the mayor would never be back. Nice line. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have, she chirped in patronizing tone. Beggars can be choosers, Malins thought to himself. Okay. So Malins decided to pump the receptionist for whatever information she might possess. Nothing helps in official matters like a proper customary gift. We don't have anything to give, so let's go for questioning. So, 1 success already. And then I'm going to use all my dice. Ooh, that's 7 plus 6, 13. That means I get 1, 2, 3. Plus 1, 4 successes. Gosh. Excellent result. Confirm. So I get to ask 3 questions. Can you tell me anything about this? Did Busseau do for the mayor? When was Busseau last seen? Did Busseau have any enemies? Okay, what did Busseau do for the mayor, the murder victim? Cox. I'm not sure what else I can share with you. What? She didn't say anything. When was Busseau last seen? Cox. The receptionist slightly heavily. I have nothing else to tell you. Detective Mr. Busseau was here yesterday. Then he left and nothing eventful occurred. She looked annoyed and her hostility increased. And I have one last question. Did Busseau have any enemies? I don't have anything useful to scan for her, so let's do that. I honestly wouldn't know, Detective. Mr. Busseau was very private, and even if I did know the answer to a question like that, I certainly couldn't share with you. We have policies at the mayor's office. After all, the smile she gave Malins was condescending in the extreme. I will intimidate her because Cox is not working with her. Malins wasn't having any thought. No more bullshit, lady. The receptionist jaw dropped. She was clearly not used to being spoken to this way. Oh. I can't say any names because we all hated Frank. He was awful to the mayor and awful to everyone in the office. He would have been fired years ago, but he had powerful friends in the Lavaux Corporation, or at least that was the rumor. Mullins uncovered a new lead in the case. There was a connection between the case and Lavaux Corporation, and while Mullins didn't yet know what the connection was, he had little doubt that it would prove significant. You gain one experience. And then the Lavaux Corporation building goes there, ground zero for the most powerful organization of all New Orleans, made of obsidian glass and black steel. It jutted out of the landscape like a dark monolith. Ooh. It's this building over there. Oh, indeed, it looks shaky. Okay. And then she says, and again, one experience, not to forget it. According to the receptionist, the mayor was indisposed and wouldn't be back. Okay, no, but ends a turn and turn, yes. Go back to Julia. So, there is a new location for us, which is linked with a case over there. We need to go and visit it. And on top of that, I think we need to get Julia to the Dixieland Drugstore. At least, I'm hoping we can get something. Or bribe the lead investigator. Let's go to share. Okay, so going there. First of all, I refresh one of my die. Then I can scan something. I don't want to scan something at the moment. And then I go to Dixieland Drugstore. Yes. Let's see if she wants to ask some questions before. So she's using 2 dice. I don't want to spend my 4 die, even though my stats are not great. So 2 + 1, 3, not a success. 0 success. Yes. Still, I get to answer. Get here to ask one question. What do you know about the Lavaux Corporation? Yeah, let's ask her that. Cox, of course. I know they use voodoo for further their own turns, their own ends. They own New Orleans and Dark Orleans both, and anyone who stands up to them ends up in hospital or worse. So they use voodoo. Ooh, a corporation using voodoo. Okay. Let's see what behind the counter is offered. I would buy the voodoo doll. Yes. I discard 1 money card. And I buy the voodoo card, the voodoo doll, which is card number 8. Okay. So she gets this voodoo doll. Immediately add 1 to all dice rolls, results in any combat, and Arcane Test. This is good. And you don't need to discard it. Perfect. So no matter if we use it for something in the plot of the scenario, still is a powerful card to have due to the manipulation it offers. Okay, so I paid, I got the voodoo card, enough business for now. And end of turn. Malins. He refreshes one effort die. So, it's obvious, one of them should follow this lead and one of them should follow that lead. I would send Malins here because he's better for investigation and questioning. Okay. Ooh. Malins inwardly groaned at the beeping from his waist. Director Romero wanted another update. Malins dialed the agency number from the nearest payphone and gave Director an update on the status of the case. Sophie didn't mince words. This should have been solved yesterday, fucking day, Malins, and you goddamn know it. Malins knew no such thing, but he wisely kept it to himself. Next time I call, I want a real update, and I do not whatever the fuck is what you just told me. Otherwise, there will be consequences. Okay. Do you want a hint? No. So, let's go there. Visit Lavaux Corp building. Yeah. So this is flipped. Okay. The lobby of Lavaux Corporation was Spartan and cold. Place tile 3 face up as indicated. So this goes there. Behind the monstrous reception desk sat a small man. His name tag helpfully identified him as Todd. Where are you, Todd? He's number 8. Thankfully this is numbered. So Todd is here. Okay. There is also a portrait at the back. Along the back wall was a massive portrait of a black woman in a red shawl, her hair tightly wrapped in a yellow turban. And we're ready to start. I think we should interact with the portrait first. So, visit the portrait? Yes. Malins examined the portrait closely. The painting dominated the entire wall of the foyer. As Malins moved towards it, he would feel the eyes following him. Up close, a gold nameplate at the bottom of the name read Marie Laveau, 1801 to 1881. Marie Laveau. Okay, let's do some investigating. So we have the talent. So he's he has 1, 2, 3. I think he should use his effort die. So 4 plus 3, 7, and this is nothing for him because he doesn't have any modifier. So 7 awards only 1 success, unfortunately. Even though it's a high number, he's not doing well there. Okay, so let's confirm. To the left of the paint was a small plaque. Malins almost didn't notice it since it had the same color and texture as the wall and it blended in almost invisibly. It read, Marie Laveau, the New Orleans Queen of Louisiana Voodoo, established the foundation upon which the Lavaux Corporation was built, a talented healer and practitioner of the arcane. Her love for the city guided every decision and choices she made. It is the same love that drives every action the Lavaux Corporation takes on behalf of the great city. Marie Laveau had 15 children with her partner Christophe Dominique, Dominique de Clapion, but only 2 daughters survived into adulthood. Marie Euchariste Eloise, who tragically died in 1862 at the age of 35, and Marie Pilomène, who carried on her mother's legacy and ultimately established Lavaux Holdings, which officially became the Lavaux Corporation in 1910. You gain 1 experience. Thank you. The portrait point of interest goes out and your end turns. Okay, so you refresh 1 die. goes out. Seen it, read it. Cool. So, what will Julia do now? She should follow her next lead, so she goes there. Okay. Yeah. Julia instant kicked at the first sense of danger, so she has to make an attack test. So I'm only using 2, a combat test. So 6, that means I have 1 success. A sucker punch right in the kidney knocked Paris to the ground. Thug. The assailant was an older, weary man, a man with an ice cold stare in his single eye. He backed away, leaving Paris some space, and reached for a cigar. No hard feelings, Beaumont. I'm here to have a chat. So what do you want? We'll have a chat exactly as you like. And Paris mumbled a spell. Okay, so what does she do? Let's hear him out. What do you want? Glad we can talk like civilized people. Now listen, I learned that you are sniffing around Leblanc Corporation. I'm to tell you that it will be appreciated if you stop doing so. Do your thing, but stay away from Corporation. Are we clear? I would send him to fuck off. The man showed no emotion in response, so we're doing it the hard way. Okay, so let's make some battle now. This is the thug, by the way, that I'm facing. Okay. Here we'll have a chat exactly the way you like. So, doing that, I'm going to now keep this, use those dice as well, and I'm thinking of inputting 2 successes as well. No, I'm going to use those. I don't want to degrade any of my stats, so let's go with that. So 3 plus 3, 6. This counts as a 2, so 8 plus 1 success from this one. 8 gives me 2 successes, 7, no, 8 gives me 3 successes. Ooh, plus 1, 4. Okay, so it was a good result. Confirm. Flicking away his cigar, the man struck as fast as a snake, but Paris was ready. A series of punches knocked the thug to his knees. Gain 1. Okay, I cannot move this one, so I'm moving this one. So it's becoming stronger, huh? Good. The tables were turned. Paris picked up the man's cigar and stood over him. Now we can talk. Take the cigar, 0-3 card from the consumable deck, and place it in your character's inventory. Take the cigar. There it is. Okay. Reroll all of your card, but you need to discard it if you do. Reroll all of your dice in any skill test. Not bad. And here's the dialogue we have with him. Bleeding from a broken nose, the man showed emotion for the first time. Surprisingly, he smiled. Okay, Beaumont, listen. If you're smart enough, you'll figure out that Levoy is not your target. They want to get the motherfucker who did this just like you. Listen now. Take the money and just stay away from the corporation. Deal? Keep your dirty money. I'll verify what you say on my own. Deal. Get some money. I need it. A deal is a deal. Paris took the money and walked away. Take the money card from the consumable deck and place it in your character's inventory. Remove Toad. Okay. So I remove Toad from there. I take 1 money card. I remove tile 3 altogether. Okay, not bad. So this was resolved, right? And then I remove the corporation building as well. Your turn ends. and he refreshes 1 die. So that means that Julia managed to work out what happened there through the attack of the thug. Okay. After documenting everything on their own, NOPD cleaned up this crime scene and the show was over. The body ended up at the coroner's office beyond the reach of agency. Remove tile 7. So this is removed. I really like mechanically how these tiles you know, zoom in the action, etc, etc. Okay. Remove the victim. The victim was removed. Remove Detective Leblanc. Okay. And I guess we remove. Leblanc went back to the NOPD headquarters to do his paperwork. So he goes to the NOPD building, which is this one over there. Okay, nice. So we need him still. And remove tile 02. Okay. So the story unfolds. Remove the casket girl, since the body is out. No blood there, no blood trail. Remove Domingo. And remove tile 01. Okay, lots of differences happening. The app instructs us on what to do specifically, no problem there. And we remove the Congo square. And now we can play our turn. So, okay, so I'm sending him to, should I go, I send him to the detective. No, I'm sending him to Robichaud's house. Yes. So this is flipped. Okay. And then there was still crime scene tape across the front door, but it appeared that no one has set foot inside for a very long time. A thick coat of dust, undisturbed, lay across everything. Place tile 10 as indicated. So, tile 10. Which is the house. Okay. Then we need to place a point of interest in the bedroom where the crime happened. A door of the hallway led to the bedroom, likely where the victim and her husband had slept. And then we place another lead to the backyard door. Through the screen door that led to the backyard, Manus could just make out the outline of the tool shed. The body of Maria Robichaud was been found there. Okay, so she was found at the tool shed throughout the back. Okay. And then we continue. So I'm going to investigate the bedroom. Yes. Managed to look around the bedroom. A fine blanket of dust lay over everything. Nothing had been touched. It was home for ghosts. Malin scanned the room looking for anything amiss. Malin tried to sense magic. Okay. So, I think he's a bit better. No, I think he will try to sense magic. Let's do the arcane test. Okay, so doing that, even though I would be giving this to, no, back. Yeah, I'll do that. I will do that with him. So I roll all dice and I get a 6 plus an automatic success that gives me 1 plus 2 successes. Confirm. Some subtle energy was resonating from the pillow. It turned out to the very potent black stone amulet. Take the black pendant 9 card from the console of cards and place it in your character inventory. Your turn ends. So he gains the black pendant. we can discard for getting 2 successes on, or receive 4 experience during upgrade phase if you haven't used it. Not bad. So I'm going to put it there, and then we go to Julia's turn, so she refreshes 1 die. Paris will prove stronger again. She hasn't satisfied her hunger, so we lose again 1. Or I'm doing this one. Yeah. Okay. So she's at the Robichaud house. Yes. She should go where? At the backyard door. Even though she would be able to send something, but anyway, go to the backyard door. Yes. You remove this one. Okay. And we extend it with Robichaud house backyard tile 11. The Robichaud backyard garden left unattended for far too long has gone wild. So take tile 11, and again, if I wasn't squeezing everything for the video, it would go there, you know, making sense that it follows through the backyard, but anyway, it doesn't matter, I'm putting it below, and this goes out. You see, they both belong to Robichaud's house since they have the same title. Okay. Then the tool shed stood alone in the yard. It's grimy, windows dark. That must have been where the other victim, Maria Robichaud, has been found. In a place, a point of interest in the shed, tool shed. Okay, and there is, nature has reclaimed large parts of the yard and numerous gardening tools and furniture laid scattered around the place. Derelict garden. So maybe we can find some kind of tool there. Okay. And there are a pile of ashes. In the corner of the yard there is a scorched patch of earth as if the fire has been lit there. A lot of things to discover there, eh? Nice. I'm loving it. So, what say you, Julia? What do you do? Should send her to the pile of ashes because I want to use... No. She goes... He's there because he got the pendant, and she goes there to the shed. Okay. Yes. The shed was closed with a padlock. Looking for its key seemed futile. Paris pulled the door out to force it open, or Paris considered breaking it using. Most probably something that I could get from there, but I didn't go there first. Doesn't matter. Let's make a skill test for combat. She has good stats, so why not? So 3 plus 4, 7, and this counts as a 2. So, and I also shouldn't be forgetting that I have the voodoo doll, which is a permanent addition that add 1 to all roll die results. So plus 1. 7 plus 1, 8, plus 2, 10. That gives me 3 successes. Perfect. So I'm forcing it open. The rusty padlock broke easily. It might have served to stop a raccoon from breaking it, but it wasn't much for a determined person. So I gain 1. I'm becoming very, very strong. I like it. Now Paris pulled the chain of the grimy light bulb dangling from the ceiling, filling the shed with light. Of course, all major evidence of the crime has been removed, but for some reason the shed had never been cleaned, and the planks on the floor were still stained dark with blood. Paris couldn't imagine that NOPD had missed anything, but she decided to search the scene again nonetheless. Paris, what the blinkers had missed, the arcane might not. Paris carefully chose a spell and recited it. So, I think she's going to do the arcane test because she's not that good with investigating and talent. So let's do that. So, she doesn't have any A4 die, she just has the 2 die. No. And she gets 2 plus 2, 4 from the ability, plus 1, 5. That will give her nothing. So 0. Yes. Paris felt understanding shimmer in the air, but remained hazy an instant. The spell wasn't strong enough, or she didn't have the talent to cast it. Refresh one of your die. Compensation, I'm refreshing one of my die. Okay, so I end my turn, then I go back to Malin's. Malin's is following up, so he goes there. And he's interacting with, refreshing one of his die. At the Robichaud house, yes. With interacting with the derelict garden, yes. He decides to, nature has reclaimed, okay, so decides to take a closer look at the bushes. Let's do that. So 6 plus 1, 7, that means I get 1 success. Let's hope is enough. Malins had not found anything related to the case, but he has a small handy crowbar. Take the crowbar 6 from the consumable deck and place it in the character's inventory. Okay, that's good because this is a crowbar. You can discard to add 3 to your result in a strength test. Not bad. Okay, good. And then I suppose this goes our way. This is what I should be using to open the shred, but I managed with my fists. So I did, and this ends my turn. Now Paris refreshes 1 effort die, and she goes to the Robichaud house again. Yes, let's follow up on the lead. I think I'm going again in the shed. Yes. Doing again an arcane test. Now I'm using all 4 of my dice. So 3 plus 3, 6, plus 4, 10. That means I get 3 successes. The woods come out like a punch, and Paris instantly understood where to look. She shoves a burlap sack of soil to the side, and there's underneath scrawled in blood, where clear symbols hadn't been in the crime scene photos. Pulling out of her notebook, she sketched what she saw in the blood on the floor on the tool shed. Take the symbol 05 card from the story deck and place it in the Beaumont inventory and gain 1 experience. I think we got the second portion of... Ooh. No, that's not that one. That's this one. And we need to combine them and see if we can read the voodoo. And you remember who can read voodoo? At the Dixieland Drugstore. Okay, cool. Paris looked both cases, and when placed on one sheet over the other, the murder symbol, whatever it was, connected to the murderers Maria Robichaud and Frank Robichaud to the another one. Discard the photo 5 and symbol 2. And take the combined symbol 9 card from the store deck and place it in the Beaumont inventory and gain 2 experience. Perfect. So I gain 2 experience. I discard those 2 cards because I found them separately. And then I pick up the combined symbols. So this is what I really need to show to them. Okay, so I think since we remove the shed, the turn ends, and now it's Winter Malin's turn. We refresh an effort die, and then we hit with our turn. I think that he again will follow up with the ashes. Let's see what's going on there. Since we are at the Robichaud house, yes. This is also removed. We got the crowbar. Going to pile of ashes. Yes, so he moves there next to this. Malins looked closer at the corner of the yard. It was black and charred. The grass burned away, and in its place a pile of charcoal-like residue. It looked like an ordinary fire pit, the kind many families would have in their backyards. Malins examined the blackened corner of the earth more closely. So he has to do a talent test. He has 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do that. So he uses his effort die. So 4 plus 3, 7. Unfortunately, that's only one success. So one success, confirm. Managed to look closer, but nothing grabbed out, just a black mess in the corner of the forgettable backyard. Refresh one of your dice, so he needed more success, unfortunately. So I would suppose that this ends his turn. And then we go to Julia. Julia is not good with talent tests, so I'm not going to even try to go there. What I think I need to do is, I'm trying to see if there is any ghost there, so she will move there to the Robichaud house. Yes. Visit the bedroom. She scans. No. She doesn't have... okay. So there's nothing else for me to do. I have one refresh die there as well, so I think I'm wasting a turn here, but anyway. 2 plus 2, 4, no successes, 0 success, confirm. Yes, I get nothing of interest here. I just refresh one of my die and my turn ends. So go to Malin's, he refreshes one of his die and he's trying again now with more dice. Visit Robichaud house, go to the pile of ashes. Do the check with the talent, so he's using all 4 of his dice. So he gets 4 plus 2, 6 plus 2, 8. Okay. Still one success. Okay, so only one success, confirm. Again, nothing for me. I'm refreshing one die, losing a turn, unfortunately, here again. Going to Paris. Where should I send her? I'm sending her to the lead investigator, Detective Leblanc. Paris attempted to calm Leblanc down. So he's using a calm test. She rolls all of her dice because he was hostile before, remember? So 3, 4, 3, 4 and 4, 8. No modifier there. So with 8 I have 2 successes. Let's see if it's enough. Paris wasn't above engaging in a little brown nosing if you would get Leblanc back in the talkative mood. As luck would have it, Leblanc was vain enough to fall for Paris' empty compliments. Maybe it was a bit hasty. Ask your questions, but remember, you're treading on thin ice. Okay. So I have one question to ask. Do you have any leads? I will try to coax. Jesus, you Beaumont types can't really get a clue, can you? The character hostile has increased again. Paris has pushed Leblanc too far. Not answering again. Oh, nothing useful here. So he didn't want to give any leads. He refreshes one die. Shall I discard the pendant and gain 2 successes? But it may be important. I don't want to discard it. Something's going on there with the ashes. Okay, let's try again. Yes, yes, yes. So, going for new roll. I rolled poorly. 2 and 2, 4 and 1, 5. 1 success. Nothing again. And end my turn. So just refresh one die, end my turn, and go to Paris. Paris hunger moves stronger, so I need to I'll make this I'm moving this. Okay, and now it's my turn. Okay, I'm going there to try to help him. So let's see what we're doing. Yes, yes. No, because if I do the talent test, I cannot degrade. This is really low, so no. What should I do? First of all, I need one refresh die. Start of my turn. I will discard. I will take the pendant from him. We're in the same location. I will discard it to get 2 successes. Okay, out. And then I will try to make the talent test. So rolling. If I get one more, it will be nice. So 7 plus 3, 9, 10. I get one more. So 3 successes. Okay. Paris pulled out a pen and dragged through the black residue. The reason the ash, she found something surprising, blackened finger bones. She didn't know what to make of this creepy finding, but she kept the bones nevertheless. Take the finger bones, 10 cards from the story deck, and place it in the Beaumont inventory. Gain 1 experience. Okay, so we got some. This needs to go there. Oh no, it's from the story deck. So I need to find the finger bones. Oh, strange. Okay. So there you have it. We got also a lot of experience. So this goes away, and your turn ends. Okay. So this goes out. This goes out. And this stays. We didn't have the rest of the house removed for the moment. Okay. So now it's John Wintermalin's turn. So I think he's going to take the combined symbols and go to the Dixieland. So he moves there, interacting with the Dixieland Drugstore. Yes. I think Matt Dane Bordeaux is expert on things. Okay, let's do that. So let's see how many questions we can ask. We need to be able to ask a lot of questions. So let's see if... No, I'm only rolling 2. So I get 3. Ah! I was so optimistic I would get something. Really bad here. Okay, confirm. 0 successes, yes. I get to ask 1 question. Okay, that's enough. I need to scan something. So I'm going to show her the combined symbols. So, there you go. For some reason it doesn't like it. Maybe it's a glare sometimes. Okay. So I got here that. I'm not going to intimidate here, Cox. No, I won't speak anymore. This you bring death into my shop. The character hostility increased. And turn. Oh. She didn't want to talk about it, so I'm going to intimidate her. BBB, it was the agency again. Paris, brace yourself, put a quarter into the payphone on the corner and fill Sophie up on the case status. Do you remember what I said last time, Paris? You did? But Sophie was speaking rhetorically as usual, so she didn't answer. I said there would be consequences. Time is running out and this case needs to be put into bed. So stop lolly fucking gagging and get to it. No, I don't want. So we're wasting time here, apparently. So what she should do She's going there to Dixieland. And let's try to speak, to make her speak. Yes. See if we can ask questions. So I'm only, using those two. I need to refresh one die. Okay, so 3 plus 1, 4, 0. Yes. Do you know Mama Celestine? Yes. Cox. I really don't know, Julia, but it seems important. I'll ask around and let you know if I find something and gain 1 experience. Okay. Then it's Marlin's turn. Refreshes 1 die. So what he should do? I'm sending him to the lead detective. He knows something. We need to get him to talk. Let's calm him down. So I'm using 3. 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7. That gives me 2 hits. Let's see if it's enough. Manis wasn't above engaging in little brown nosing. If he would get Leblanc back in the talkative mood, as luck would have it, Leblanc was vain enough to fall for Malin's empty compliments. Maybe was a bit hasty. Ask your questions. So, what we can ask? Do you have any leads? He didn't want to give any leads. What can you tell me about Cazador Inc? Did the autopsy turn anything? The detective seemed to be enjoying the illusion of power. Glad you asked. Look at what the eggheads found in the man's mouth. I figured out Beaumont's like the cryptic sheet, so you can keep it. He handed Winter a small buttered paper with a note. Take the note 4 from the story deck and place it in the Beaumont inventory. This is the note. Le justice est là pour tous les descendants. I think it means, my French are very rusty and from high school, the justice is for the descendants. So let's see, this goes in the, of course, inventory. So it goes there. And let's put here what we have as a common pool. So we have some leads there. I'm trying to think what to do. Since we go back to Julia and she refreshes 1 of your die. Okay, I think we can still get something out of Detective Leblanc, but I'm going to try my luck with, again with the drugstore. So, yes, I would give her something to open her appetite for talking. So I'm scanning the finger bones. Let's see if that makes sense. That's a lovely thing. Keep it to yourself, Julia. So she doesn't want to take it. Let's do the test. So she makes so 1 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 6. That's 1 success. Plus 1, 2 successes. So we get asked 2 questions. Perhaps Madame Bourdeau could sense of this. So what would that be? I will ask her about, again, the finger bones. Cox. Batette leaned toward Julia and whispered, seems like an offering made by the dead Saturdays, if you ask me. Paris uncovered a new lead in the case. A gang called the Dead Saturdays Pleasant sounding bunch, evidence pointing at the Baron, most probably points at them, which makes it worth checking, and you gain 1 experience. Okay. And then I have one more question. What do you tell me about the dead Saturdays? Cox. No, it's too dangerous. You must leave the Saturdays alone. And turn yes. Balance refresh is one of their effort die. And they go to Detective Leblanc. So, ask him to do some questions. So 4 plus 1. I have 1 success only, because this needs to be 4. Okay, 1 success. What can you tell me about Dead Saturdays? Cox. The latest info is that they're camping out the Metairie cemetery. Knock yourself out. So he gains 1 experience, and we find out 1 new location, the Metairie cemetery, which goes there. Gain 1 experience. I have 1 more question. What do you tell me about Cazador? Cox. Listen, if you really want to fuck around and find out, you can drop in at the Cabildo and see what Cazador is all about, but don't say I didn't warn you. Okay. And turn, yes. Share phrases and die. So thinking of trying some intimidation with Dixieland Drugstore. Let's go there again. Yes. Asks the questions. So I'm only using this one. So 6, that will give me 1 success. Oops. Confirm. I have 2 questions. What do you know about Franck Bousseau? Let's hear it. What do you know about Franck Bousseau? Cox. Bordeaux. Thought harder. No, I'm sorry, I've never heard of Franck Bousseau. Okay. But maybe you can tell me something about this. So let me scan the note. Justice is there for all his descendants. Babette raised her eyebrows. Strange note, it says. Nothing to me. Let me see it. Babette dropped the note the moment he touched the paper. She was scared. It has been touched by the Baron. I want nothing to do with this, so intimidate her. Merde, I told you. It reeks of Baron Samedi's magic. Get it out of my shop. So, Paris uncovered a new lead in this case, the name Baron Samedi. There was no telling what dark doors might open. Gain 1 experience and end my turn. Okay. He refreshes 1 die. And then I move to his action. I'm going to send him at the cemetery. So I'm sending him there. So check the cemetery. Yes. It's flipped and I need to place the cemetery tile 05. So this is flipped. And let's go to tile 05. Adding a new location there. Okay. Boy. At the edge of the pond, a young boy sprinkled bread crumbs for a gargle of squanky ducks. And old woman. An old woman dressed in African finery sat on the park bench beside the Metairie Font gate. She quietly muttered to herself. And Metairie Cemetery entrance. Okay, cool. So there you have it. It's going to be the entrance to the cemetery there. I think we found out this lady here at the bench. There she is. Nice. And we also found the boy. Throwing breadcrumbs to the ducks. His eyes look a bit dark, almost vampiric, I would say. No, it's, sorry, it's this lady, not that one. Okay. Cool. So I should pick one of those. So I'm picking the boy. Yes. The boy's back was to Malins, but as he approached, the child turned and looked up him with hollow, vacant eyes. The ducks are hungry, the boy said in flat voice, before turning them to the pond. At the edge of his shirt collar, Malins showed 2 red pricks on the boy's neck. Shit, he knew what he meant. The boy was blood bag, which meant the vampire's sister was probably close by. Okay. Where's your sister? Malins asked. If it was a rhetorical question, he looked around. Nothing. The vampire must be nearby. Malins decided to leave the boy alone. Okay, let's ask. Where's your sister? So let's use one. So I think 2 plus 3, 5. That gives me 1. And this doesn't give me anything. So 1. Where's my sister? I don't have a sister, the boy voice trailed off. Oh, you mean Sister Valentine, don't you? Malins felt the hairs of his neck stand up by the span around, catching a casket girl walking towards him. Thanks, bird. There she is. She wants to play with you. So there is an attack that's going to happen. Okay, so he has his 2 die. I think I'm going to use those 2. Plus those 2, and I'm going to discard the crowbar to add 3 to my dice roll result in this combat test. So this goes out. So let's see how well we can do with this lady. So 5 plus 3, 8, and 1 success. So 8 gives me 1 success. Plus 1 more, 2 successes. Confirm. Malins and the sister traded blows, neither really hurting the other. The vamp sniffed, grabbed the boy's hand and highlighted out at the cemetery and hightailed out in the cemetery. Malins let them go. The boy was already dead anyhow. Refresh one of your die. Okay. 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 Remove the boy. Your turn ends. Julia's turn. She refreshes 1 die. She doesn't have any dice to refresh. She goes also visiting the cemetery. So she goes, I think, to the lady over there. So let her interact with the lady, with the old woman. Yes. The woman, who must have been pushing 90, was wrapped in a purple robe and wore a garish turban on her head. She muttered quietly to herself until Paris approached, and she looked up and said, "A fortune for a coin for a fortune. Do you want me to tell you the truth, Julia? How the hell did you woman know her name?" Paris decided to pay the old woman in only out of sheer curiosity. So she has money, and I think she will use it. So you gain 1 experience. Yeah. You discard the money card. A fortune for a coin. Inside, a vagabond awaits you, one who wishes to do you harm. Now you know the truth, Julia, and that is all I have to share. Then she got up and walked to the road, leaving Paris alone at the bench. Gain 1 experience and discard the money. So 1 experience, she goes out, and then your turn ends. I don't think I should send in Malins, or maybe I should, just to open the, yeah, I'm using him to open the door. So I'm sending Malins there. She interacts with the cemetery entrance. So this is removed. And then we extend it with tile 06. So normally this should go here, extending it, but I'm just placing it below since there's no space, obviously. And then we put a point of interest here, an offering, as indicated by the app. In front of the particular ornate tomb, someone has laid out an offering plate surrounded by lit candles. Then there is Dead Saturday. Malins caught a flicker of movement in the shadows, someone who was hiding in waiting. The old woman had been right. Place 13 Dead Saturday as indicated. So I'm placing him there. I'm not going to interact with him. I think it's better to send Paris. He's much better in fighting than me. What I'm going to interact with is this one. Visit the offering. Yes. So, Malins looked down on the plate. He had been there for a while, judging by the number of files and of flies that cover it. Next to the food were a number of items that had clearly been meant as an offering. Malins considered were any of those worth pocketing. Winter pilfered a bottle of rum. Winter picked up a promising pouch of coins. Malins thought better stealing from the dead, and he left the offering alone. I'm not going to do it. As naive as it might be, Malins felt much better leaving the offering to their owners, so he gains 1 experience. I don't know what would happen if I'm scared to piss off the dead, so 1 more experience. I'm definitely going to get something now, I have a lot of experience. Okay, your turn ends. Now it's Julia's turn. And Julia is going to interact with the dead. The Dead Saturday, so she goes there. So he's here and she goes there. Pars didn't think whoever was behind the tombstone had seen her yet. Keeping to the shadows, she waited silently for a few minutes, thinking about how best to proceed. After quietly watching the lurking figure, Paris knew she had the advantage of surprise. Now what she will do? The best solution for a boogeyman is to dark had always been magic. Probably be damned. Paris decided to rush out the shadows and take with brute force. Okay, I'm going with full force here. I'm much better with full force. So let's roll. All of my rolls. So 2 successes and a 3 + 1 from the voodoo 4, so 2 + 1, 3 successes. Confirm. Paris moved with such a speed and precision that the shadowy figure never knew what hit him. 3 quick strikes and the figure was on the ground, writhing in agony. Paris pressed her boot to the figure's side and rolled into the open grave. The garish white face paint of the Dead Saturday looked back as if back up at her, pain across his face. So you gain 1 more. That's nice. Okay. Take the crowbar card from the consumable deck and place it in the character's inventory. So she gains a crowbar. Okay. The Dead Saturday looked up in Julian, blood in his face, causing his white makeup to drip down red streaks. Ask, rumble your goddamn question and let's get over with. Now the dog has stopped biting, it has time to ask some questions. Maybe it was time to squeeze out what his asshole knew. Okay, let's ask the questions. So I lost all of these dice. So if I do some... I think I'm doing some fighting instead of asking, so let's quiz him. So 2 + 1, 3. That means bad luck, I cannot make any out of it, so 0 success. Yes. So I have 1 question. The Dead Saturday looked at Julian, the blood in his face causing his white makeup drip. Okay, read that one. What can you tell me about this? What is going in the cemetery? Was there Saturday involved in Frank Bousseau's murder? Where can I find the rest of Dead Saturdays? What can you tell me about the Baron? What can you tell me about the Lavaux Corporation? Where can I find the rest of the Saturdays? Dead Saturdays. Intimidate him. Come on, he's on the floor. How can he not be intimidated by my boot on his neck? God damn it, stop hitting me. They are at St. Louis 3, Papa Doc, and the rest of the Saturdays, but they aren't going to like what you're going to show up. The character is beginning to lose consciousness. So you uncovered a new lead, a nickname, Papa Doc. He seems to be a real big deal among the Dead Saturdays, and you gain 1 experience. And I gain 1 more experience, so I gain 3 and I give back 1. Paris discovered a new location that would lead to answer St. Louis Cemetery 3. One of the oldest cemeteries in the entire city. And this goes St. Louis Cemetery. So that's there. Okay. I have 1 more question, which will be, what are the dead Saturdays involved in Franz Bousseau murder? Cox. Suck my dick, you piece of shit. Okay, that went well. Intern, yes. Certainly the punk knew something more. Paris took him to the Beaumont Agency headquarters for further investigation. So he is removed from there. And then he refreshes an F4 die and it's back to him. Okay. The beeper that signaled the verbal lashing from the director Romero was yet again going on muffling, knowing that he would be the last warning from her. He punched in the agency number into the nearby payphone and waited. The other end of the line picked up, but Sophie was silent. Well, it was never a good sign. Mullins finished filling the director, and as she waited, but a blunt and to the point, fucking solve it now, there won't be another chance. Yes, pointing to the right direction. Do you think exploring the cemetery the Dead Saturday told you about might be a smart choice? Perhaps it might be. I don't know a goddamn clue where they're asked what the fuck is going on. Sophie was especially pleasant today. Okay, nothing new that I didn't know. So, a waste of resources, I would say. So, where should I go and what should I do? Send him there. So he's interacting with the St. Louis Cemetery. Yes. Okay. Place St. Louis Cemetery. Row after row above ground tops stood sentry like gateways to the underworld. Various names were chiseled above the sealed entrances. So tile number 8. Goes over there, which is not connected with this one. Okay, this is a different location and this is a different location. Okay. Grave digger 14. Let's get the grave digger. Goes there, digging a grave, obviously. And then, okay, there's no one else to interact, so he goes there and interacts with the grave digger. Yes. The withered old man, his skin, the color of burned leather, blew a ring of smoke into Mullins' face and approached him. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez? He asked between drags of the cigar. The old man could know something useful. I have a cigar somewhere that will be useful for him in Julia. Okay. So let's do the questioning. So I'm using 2 plus 2. And I have 3, 4, 5 5 gives me 1 success, and I have another one from questioning 2 and another one from there, from this one 3. So I have 3 successes. Confirm. So 3 questions. Do you speak English? Can I have a cigar? Can you tell me about the dead Saturdays? Okay, what can you tell me about the dead Saturdays? I think I'm doing that. Cox. There was a look of warning in the man's eyes. Ils sont dangereux. Vous devez être prudent. Okay, so not speaking English. Do you speak English? No speak English. He laughed again. One more question. Do you know anything about that? I'm going to scan the finger bones. So, scanning the finger bones. The Gregor shook his head. Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce que c'est. Δεν ξέρει τι είναι αυτό. He doesn't know what it is. The withered old man, his skin, the color of, okay, and turn. Paris turn. So, she's coming here because she has a cigar. Let's see if it makes sense. Visit the gravedigger, ask him questions. She refreshes 1 die before anything else, okay? Don't forget that. So, 4. Gosh, 0 success. No. Yeah, 0 successes. Okay. So, yes, I have 1 question. Let me ask him about the cigar. So, do you know anything about that? Yeah, I need to do it with my hands down. The girl shook his head. Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce que c'est. So nothing useful out of the cigar for him. So, back to Malins. Let's do some more questioning. He's the person for questioning, so yes, do the questioning. So 2, 3 gives me no success, but this is 1 success plus 1 from here too, so 2 successes. So, can I have a cigar? Malins gestured toward the cigar. The gravedigger stand non-committally, but pulled another cigar in his pocket and added him. Prendre plaisir, he said. Take the cigar card from the common consumable deck and give it to the character inventory. So he takes also a cigar. I don't know what we're going to do with all these cigars, but always good to get items from NPCs. Okay. So, I'll make him read the French note. So let's see it. The man nodded with understanding. La justice est là pour l'étude des sons. Je crois aider sur l'entrée tombe. I think you've seen it on some of the graves. So, he pointed Malins towards a nearby tomb. Dead Saturdays asked Malins to confirm his understanding. Oui. Chamedis morts, the gravedigger nodded. Okay. There is an open tomb there. And turn, yes. Okay, so Julia refreshes 1 die and she goes to interact, sorry, that's here. And she goes to interact with this. Yes. It looked like one of the oldest tombs in the cemetery. The stone door stood open, but it was not very inviting. The massive stone lamp, which had barred in, stood against the tomb's wall. Paris lit the brutal chamber using magic, or do a talent. I think she's going to do magic. So let's use her dice to do that. So 1, 3, 5, 6, plus 1 from the voodoo doll, 7. That's still only 1. The grave digger was right. A French sentence, le justice et la poule tout de descend, with my horrible French, was chiseled inside the tomb. The creepy fact was that the sarcophagus was empty. Whoever had been buried there, which was impossible to tell you now because the name of the deceased was hammered away, his or her body was missing. Ooh. It was really a dead Saturday's job. They left no trace of their presence apart from the vandalized name of the tomb's owner. The place was preserved in pristine condition. It seemed that there was nothing more to learn here, and you gain 1 experience. So, this lack of flash was by design though. Agents routinely attracted the worst kind of attention, so anything that might increase the attention was a liability, hence the shitty, unassuming exterior. Still, as Paris walked through the front door, she could help but wonder why Sophie didn't at least bring a fresh coat of paint. So, Sophie Romero, director of the Beaumont Agency, for almost a decade, sat behind the desk, poring over case files. As usual, she looked as welcoming as a storm cloud. "I'm busy, Paris," she said without looking up from her work. So what does the agency know about the Lavaux? The Lavaux Corporation is run out by the most powerful motherfuckers in the city, and the top of the Charlot Baton, Lavaux president, the one woman who don't want to fuck with the city is me. She's number 2. Okay. I could use some information on Dead Saturdays. The Dead Saturdays are unhinged maniacs, about as fun as crackle of hyenas and much dangerous. They skulk around the city cemeteries, digging up a god only knows what. Their current leader is Sophie. Checked a file on her desk. A man who goes by the name of Papa Doc. Sounds like a real fucking gentleman, judging by what we've heard. Most important thing for you to know is that the dead heads is what will in balls deep in Baron Chamedi. He is a raison d'etre, and that would lick his boots if they let them. The pantheon of laws are exactly what known for their sanity, but the Baron takes the fucking triple decker chocolate cake. Avoid him at all costs. Do you know any more details on Baron Chamedi? Details? You want some fucking details? The director glimpsed. I had a run with a criminal. He goes by the name where he's feeling particularly sadistic. About 20 years ago, a group of bored blinkers, just kids really, were fucking around and somehow managed to summon the vicious bastard. I never figured out how the pack of stupid kids did it. Summoning Eloa is beyond the power of most voodoo priests. The Baron has been dousing live chickens in gasoline and lighting them on fire after they got old. He had them do it one to another. Sophie, usually as hard as tempered, still looked uneasy. I got there while the second of was still screaming. I took a fair bit of effort, but I managed to convince him to leave the others alone. I can be filthy motherfucker when I need to be, and he's got a soft spot for obscene conversation. The Baron loves rum, cigars, and dirty fucking jokes. The nastier he better, but my advice, Sophie, got quieter for a moment. If you see him, run for the other fucking way. Paris looked down and Baron. Things aren't adding up. We need your help. No? Let's go to the basement and interrogate him. So that's why we need with all the rum and cigars. Okay. So let's try to beat him. To get some questions out of him. So 2 plus 4, 6. 7 plus 1 from the voodoo, 8. That means I have 3 successes with him. The dead Saturday looked up as the blood on his face causing him makeup. Okay. Paris knew a spell might be revive the dead. So I need to revive him. Because he is not conscious. Well done. I'm not going to get any success there, am I? Okay, 8 plus 1, 9. That means I have 2 successes. It was good. A simple incarnation and the dead Saturday's eyes snapped open once again. Paris figured out he was good for a few more questions. So 2 questions. What were you doing in the cemetery? How are the dead Saturdays involved in Frank Bousseau's murder? Where exactly is Papa Doc's hideout? Resigned and beaten, the dead Saturday granted a response. Told you already, at St. Louis. Look for the shoemaker tomb. Paris uncovered a new lead. In this case, the dead Saturday's hideout is supposed to be hidden inside the shoemaker's tomb on the St. Louis 3 location and gain 1 experience. Okay. I think I'm using these as 3, but they are 5ers, so I should have 6. So I get that, and we're correct now. Yeah. So I have 1 more question. How are the dead Saturdays involved in Frank Bousseau's murder? Cox. Suck my dick again. Okay, and turn, yes. So he gets 1 refresh die. Beep beep from the... I'll keep it short. You fucked up, which means that I fucked up, but we'll deal with you later. There's been another killing, this time a police officer, specifically Detective Louis Leblanc. Head back to the office now. The second of the Congo murders has occurred. Your final score and reward is disastrous. You are awarded with 0 experience. Upgrade phase. All players use their experience you earn to improve your character. Try to spend all of your experience because any unspent will be discarded when the upgrade phase ends. During the upgrade phase, you can unlock abilities and also improve your character skills. So I didn't do score very well, but I can at least upgrade myself because I got a lot of experience. So for example, I think I can use I can use 4 of them to unlock this one, the quick thinking. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think I can also use some of the experience to upgrade myself, my stats, that is. I will use definitely, I need to spend experience depending on where I'm sitting. So I'm going to spend 2 to move this one there. I'm going to also spend 1, 2 to move this one there. Maybe 2 more to use, spend this one there. I think that it will make sense if I 1, 2, use 2 there. And then I still have 5. I'm going to use those 5 2 plus 2, 4 plus 1, 5. So make him more strong on the arcane. Okay, so discard any unspent, exhaust all the dice. Done. Next time on the Dark Quarter, investigating the brutal murder of Detective Louis Leblanc, a murder that they are painfully aware, they fail to prevent the agents begin to see how deep the case will take them into the bowels of Dark Orleans. The Dead Saturdays, the Lavaux Corporation, the Casket Girls, everything is connected, and the agents will be forced to make decisions that will irrevocably seal their fate and the fate of the city. Cazador Inc. Home to the goddamn Inquisition, a bunch of crazed zealots who never got the memo that it was time to close up and stop burning witches at the stake. Mullins would rather get kicked by the boss by a pissed off Rougarou than mess around with Cazador. But if he wanted answers about what happened that night, he'd have no choice. Well, guess this was a bad fucking day to stop drinking. Paris rolled her name, Mama Celestine, around her head. Who was she, and did she have the power to, as me claimed, what she did to stop the shakes, that is. She checked with her contacts, and which she had many, and see what the word in the dark quarter of the city was. Among, of course, she would look in on Esme and make sure the blood-sucking witch was keeping her promise. The dark quarter will continue in chapter 2, Salt and Flame. And then you continue to the next scenario. So this is where I stop at my playthrough. Maybe I stalled a bit more, I think, when I was trying to get behind the personal stories. Maybe it's not, no matter what, the story continues to the second scenario, moving with the story together. So everything wraps up, everything continues. So there you have it. This is the playthrough of the Dark Quarter. I hope you enjoyed, you liked it. It was a very intense and thematic experience, and I tried to give you the best of how it looks and what is the feeling and what is the actual gameplay throughout, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did again. So many thanks for watching.